The number Wang Yi dialed was the number of the general manager of Jiangnan province. He was the boss of Xinzhou Times. It was impossible to dial Zhou Hua's number because he didn't even know Zhou Hua. Toot, toot, toot. When the call was dialed, a humble voice came from the other party. Hey, Mr. Wang, what's going on? When the voice sounded, Wang Yi's emotions burst out directly. What else are you asking me about? What are your men doing? Don't you look at the scarf? Wang Yi roared loudly and roared. It can be said that if this guy was in front of him, Wang Yi might take action. Ah, Mr. Wang, he hesitated, not knowing what to say. Now, immediately, call me your subordinate, a man named Zhou Hua, and tell that evil thing to die. Wang Yi slapped his phone and smashed it into pieces. His finger bones were broken and bleeding, but he didn't care. After thinking for a while, Wang Yi stood up and walked out of the box. His secretary came immediately. Book a flight to Nanchang. Immediately. Now. Wang Yi gave the order directly without saying a word, and then his face became gloomy. At the same time, Nanchang Xinzhou era. Zhou Hua was already asleep. He fell asleep at 10 o'clock. In his sleep, he was still imagining that his work was appreciated by his superiors and he was promoted step by step. But just at this moment, a familiar voice sounded. Mr. Zhou, Mr. Zhou, Mr. Chen is here. As the sound sounded, Zhou Hua woke up immediately and rubbed his eyes. Mr. Chen, his immediate boss, suddenly visited Zhou Hua, which gave Zhou Hua some surprises. It seems something good is coming. Zhou Hua was so happy that he even washed his face and walked directly outside. However, as soon as he walked out, he saw Mr. Chen with a gloomy face. Mr. Chen, what are you doing? For some reason, Zhou Hua felt some inexplicable fear in his heart, but he didn't have too much doubt and looked at Mr. Chen. Snapped. Seeing Zhou Hua coming, Mr. Chen stood up directly, raised his hand and slapped Zhou Hua on the face, with an angry look on his face, and yelled. Zhou Hua, you pighead! Is there a poop in your head? Are you? Isn't it a bad thing? Mr. Chen was furious and his voice resounded throughout the hall. Some colleagues who were still working overtime turned pale with fright when they saw this scene. A slap didn't seem to be enough, so Mr. Chen rushed over and hit Zhou Hua like crazy. Every punch and kick was real and definitely not a joke. Ouch, ouch. Mr. Chen, if you have something to say, please tell me. Why are you hitting me? Mr. Chen, what did I do wrong? Do you have to tell me? Mr. Chen. Zhou Hua screamed again and again. When the others saw this scene and reacted, they immediately started fighting. You Sabi, you are a stinky pen, a super stinky pen. I was kidding and you scolded the next door. You just have shit in your head. Should I draft it? Do you have a pig brain? Chen De roared angrily, and he was really about to cry. Just now, Wang Yi called him and scolded him so harshly that he thought he had done something wrong. However, upon closer inspection, he found out that it was his subordinate who was being clever and joined forces with another vice president. I want to create some hype and create a wave of things. Hype is just hype. Chen De doesn't care who is right and wrong. After all, businessmen have no conscience. But the damn thing is, they have the complete recording and got the surveillance video one step ahead. To put it bluntly, they have already been preparing to kill you. In the end, you foolishly fell for the trick, posted a post, hired trolls, and let the media you knew go after them. Now they are rebelling against the generals, and the trouble is even bigger. The first and second most searched for scarves are the rich second generation blocking the door and reversing the inside story. Some super famous anchors came forward, took out videos and recordings, and angrily criticized Xinzhou Times officials online. Now the Xinzhou Times official scarf has been exploded. Normally there are not many replies, but the latest one has about 70,000 to 80,000 replies, all talking about watching the show and asking for explanations. Seek to explain? Please explain. Please explain. As long as it is not a spoof, you can see that Xinzhou Times did this in an extremely unkind manner. Even if it is unkind, it is not easy to accuse the villain first. It is really disgusting to netizens. Fortunately, Xinzhou Times is not on the market. If this goes on the market, if it doesn't fall to the limit tomorrow, he will stand on his head and fly. The most irritating thing is not this. The most irritating thing is, this sand sculpture didn't even know it yet, and when he saw him, he was still smiling. Still want to get your own compliments? Damn it, a big sprite. Are there such stupid people in this world? What made Chenda extremely depressed? That's how smart he is. He actually became the person in charge of Shinjo Times in Nanchang City. Thinking of this, coupled with the fact that he was furious and hit someone just now, Chenda almost fainted. He sat on the sofa and looked at Zhou Hua coldly and said, "You can surf the internet by yourself now and show me the internet. Give it to me, go and see, Shabi." Chenda said and yelled again. Zhou Hua was so scared that he almost peed. Zhou Hua also immediately took out his mobile phone, feeling depressed. Zhou Hua tremblingly took out his mobile phone and opened his scarf. Soon he saw the incident of rich second-generation blocking doors, which became a hot search topic. Isn't this a good thing? When Zhou Hua was about to speak, he suddenly discovered the reversal of the rich second-generation door blocking incident. At this moment, Zhou Hua suddenly realized something. He swallowed and clicked on the second hot search. The first scarf was a statement issued by Baby Shushu, accompanied by pictures, videos, and recordings. Zhou Hua looked at it one by one. Look at it word by word. Every word chilled him, every word made him terrified, especially the recording, which frightened even Zhou Hua. Look at the video again. Damn it, isn't this your company's video surveillance? Why are you here? Hiss. Zhou Hua was dumbfounded, completely dumbfounded. Mr. Chen, there is a traitor in the company. Zhou Hua still opened his mouth stupidly, but Chenda directly yelled. I'm in love with the next door. You don't care if he has a traitor. How are you going to solve this matter now? Chenda was really going to be pissed off. Is there a traitor you want to tell Zhou Hua? Is he blind? Are we talking about the traitor now? Now we are talking about how to solve this matter. Zhou Hua was confused. How to deal with it? I don't know how to solve it. He lowered his head and remained silent. Then for a long time, he couldn't help but said, how about I delete the comment now? Hearing this answer, Chenda smiled. He actually laughed. He has seen bad people, but never such bad people. Zhou Hua, you are really the most evil person I have ever seen. Do you know what mistakes you made? You have provoked public anger. You have caused a huge trouble for our Shinjo era. I will tell you, let's put it this way. The boss is catching a plane and will be back soon, and you will shed your skin even if you die. Also, there is no way you can keep your job. Not only that, but according to national law, it is illegal for you to spread rumors for nothing. Do you know that? Chenda opened his mouth and said word by word. However, Zhou Hua was completely confused. Are the bosses here? Your position is not guaranteed? Still breaking the law? Is it so serious? Isn't it just a small matter? I'm going to apologize, Mr. Chen. I'm going to apologize to this person, okay? Zhou Hua was completely panicked. If his job was gone, he would be really finished. Let's not talk about anything else. Not to mention the 4 to 5 million yuan a year from this job, and all kinds of lucrative jobs. The annual salary was 1 million. He was happy. He was very worried. Now that he knew that his job might not be guaranteed, he panicked. Danima, you are a bad person. Look at the discussion for yourself. Is it useful for you to apologize? Stop talking about you. All your team members, including yours, will be fired. This is an order personally issued by the boss, and don't think that expulsion is enough. It's okay. The company has long known what you have done to enrich your own pockets over the years, and this time, you will kill the chicken to scare the monkeys. Chenda said extremely seriously. His face was extremely cold. And Zhou Hua cried directly. If this matter were to be revealed, he would really go to jail. Mr. Chen, help me, Mr. Chen, please, help me, Mr. Chen. Zhou Hua really almost cried. God knew something like this would happen. If you knew something like this would happen, you wouldn't have done it. Save you? If you want to die later without being too ugly, go to this customer immediately. If the other party is willing to cancel it, there will be a roundabout situation in this matter, otherwise. Chenda stopped talking. The meaning was obvious. Okay, I'm going to contact him now. Zhou Hua stood up and tried to contact Zhang Chen through all means, but found that there was no way to do it. In the end, his subordinates reminded him that the people who followed Zhang Chen were from Huayu Company. At that time, Zhou Hua contacted the manager of Huayu Company. Then in a hurry, I got Lee Wanqing's contact information. 20 minutes later, Zhang Chen received a call from Lee Wanqing. Hello. Miss Lee, What do you mean you called so late at night? Are you lonely late at night? Zhang Chen is in a good mood. Now that the fishing boats on the internet are in a state of chaos, he is naturally very happy. It seems Mr. Zhang has great powers. Lee Waning did not joke with Zhang Chen, but sincerely praised Zhang Chen. After what happened today, Lee Waning felt that Zhang Chen was going to be in bad luck, so she asked many leaders to help solve the problem. But unfortunately, it was impossible for the leaders to offend Xinzhou Times because of a customer. So Lee Waning was so anxious that she was almost depressed, but Zhou Hua called him. He said sorry and said Sister Lee, just to get Zhang Chen's understanding. At this time, Lee Waning discovered that Zhang Chen had solved all the troubles, not only rebelled against the generals, but also almost ruined Xinzhou Times' reputation. Nowadays, people are talking about Xinzhou Times everywhere, and they are all criticizing. Mr. Zhang, Zhou Hua from the Xinzhou era called me and wanted me to intercede for him. What do you think? Lee Waning said. What do you think we should do? Zhang Chen asked Lee Waning. Of course you don't need to pay attention to this kind of person, but he is from the Xinzhou era after all. Things are getting serious now. If it will affect you. Lee Waning stopped talking here. Didn't I know that he was from the Xinzhou era? Zhang Chen chuckled. The meaning was clear. I understand. Lee Waning seemed to have expected Zhang Chen to be like this, but again, who in the right mind could bear this anger? Especially Zhang Chen is a man who is not short of money. Okay, you should go to bed early and tell Zhou Hua that I will not forgive him for this matter. I will never accept it unless he pays a heavy price. Zhang Chen said fiercely. He must avenge himself. Yes. Lee Waning had no right to ask Zhang Chen to be magnanimous. She just made a phone call to inform Zhang Chen. And at the same time, Nanchang Airport, Wang Yi got off the plane. Didi didi. Didi didi. The phone rang and Zhang Chen took out the phone. It was an unknown number. It stands to reason that Zhang Chen would hang up, but the phone number was a bit awesome. 1x7,777,777, 77. This kind of consecutive numbers is extremely rare, and the number 7 is even rarer, because there is a saying called 7 up and 8 down, so the number that many rich people pursue is not 8, but 7. Obviously this is a big shot. After answering the phone, Zhang Chen felt very calm. Hello. Zhang Chen opened his mouth and soon heard the other person's voice. Hello. Is this Mr. Zhang Chen? The other person's voice was gentle. Yes. Zhang Chen replied. I am the general person in charge of Xinzhou Times. My name is Wang Yi. First of all, I want to apologize to you. Secondly, can Mr. Zhang give me a favor? Let's have a meal together? Wang Yi, the boss of Xinzhou Times, Zhang Chen checked the information. To be honest, Zhang Chen really didn't expect that Wang Yi would call him personally, but thinking about it carefully, now that the matter is so big, it is not impossible for the other party to find him. I'm at the Binhu Hotel. Zhang Chen spoke. He was not timid. Since the other party called, he would definitely be able to find his information, so there was no point in deliberately avoiding him. It's nothing to meet. Zhang Chen didn't believe that Wang Yi could be so stupid and want to do something to him at this juncture. If Wang Yi really dares to mess with him, then Zhang Chen promises that Xinzhou Times will be completely destroyed. Okay, I'll be there in about half an hour. I hope Mr. Zhang can wait patiently. Wang Yi was very polite in his words and did not have the majesty of a boss worth billions at all. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen called Lee Waning directly and informed Lee Waning that Wang Yi called him and wanted to have a meal together. Lee Waning was also shocked at this moment. A person of Wang Yi's level was simply a man of the hour in Nanchang City. He didn't expect that he would actually come here in person. Lee Waning didn't say much at the moment and came directly to find Zhang Chen. Just come alone, don't bring too many people. Zhang Chen thought for a while and said this. At the same time, he also warned. Tell your immediate boss, but don't bring anyone with you. I don't want to do this kind of thing. I don't want to mix it with ginseng. The reason why Zhang Chen notified Lee Waning was because the Huayu company where Lee Waning worked was not a small company. If Wang Yi really plays some tricks, Huayu company will never sit idly by. Because no matter what, Zhang Chen is a customer of Huayu company, and the most important thing is, in the Xinzhou era, Nanchang City was at its peak, and even in this second-tier city, it was a very well-known existence. So will this kind of existence have enemies? The answer is yes, and a lot. In other words, if Zhang Chen really wants to start Shinjo Times, I don't know how many people will be willing to come out and help. So Zhang Chen really doesn't need to worry. The bigger things get, the less anyone dares to cause trouble. Lee Waning came very quickly, arriving in 20 minutes. Presidential suite. What a rich man. Lee Waning walked into the presidential suite and looked around in shock. Would you like to try out the bed in the presidential suite? Zhang Chen brought a bottle of red wine. It's not that I like drinking it, I just think it's more cool. That depends on what Mr. Zhang wants. Lee Waning smiled. At this moment, Zhang Chen couldn't help but rub his nose and said with a smile, "It seems that you have figured out my temperament." Zhang Chen smiled bitterly, and Lee Waning also smiled ghostly, but soon, Lee Waning also said seriously, "Mr. Zhang, what are you going to say about this matter?" How to say? Zhang Chen took a sip of red wine and then said, "It depends on the situation. This matter is indeed the fault of the sales of Shinjo Times, but the boss Wang Yi came in person. I think it is enough to punish them. Don't act out of emotion. Shinjo Times is a real big company, a large group with nearly 10 billion yuan. This time it is said that I will go to Shanghai to find a big shot and want to list the company. If the listing is successful, it will be a super large group with at least 30 to 40 billion yuan. If you can make a good knot, it's better to make a good knot." Lee Waning said very seriously, she was not joking. Offending Wang Yi is definitely not a very wise thing to do. Clear. Zhang Chen took another sip of wine. He was not a fool, but it mainly depended on Wang Yi's attitude. If Wang Yi's attitude was still arrogant, then he would never give in. Although he has no money and no background, he is not afraid of wearing shoes on his bare feet. And just then, suddenly, the phone rang. When he answered the phone, it was a call from the front desk, saying that a gentleman named Wang Yi was looking for him and asked him if he had this friend. "Yes, he is my friend." Zhang Chen opened his mouth to answer. When Lee Waning heard this voice, she couldn't help but quickly took out a small mirror to check her makeup. What? Miss Lee still wants to curry favor with Wang Yi? Zhang Chen smiled. Nowhere. Wang Yi is a legend in our real estate industry and my idol. I am not that kind of person. Lee Waning explained. She really didn't want to do anything, she was just a little excited to see her idol. Bang bang. 5 minutes later, there was a knock on the door. Lee Waning stood up immediately. Zhang Chen was sitting on the sofa, but his posture was very serious, and he didn't look particularly frivolous. The door opened, and a cheerful voice sounded. "Mr. Zhang, I'm sorry for bothering you, I'm sorry for bothering you." Wang Yi's voice was full of laughter. He walked straight in with a bottle of red wine in his hand and no one behind him. And he was dressed very ordinary, a normal suit, without any sense of being worth billions. "Hello, Mr. Zhang. Don't stretch out your hand to hit the smiling man," and this matter was not caused by Wang Yi, but by his subordinates. Zhang Chen was not a fool, so he naturally stood up and smiled. "Mr. Wang is too polite. I can't afford to be the one who doesn't like Mr. Zhang." Zhang Chen chuckled. Wang Yi was also casual and sat directly in front of Zhang Chen. At the same time, he took out the red wine in his hand and said, "Mr. Zhang, I don't know if you like drinking. This is the Romane Conti that I have in my wine cellar. This is mine. I drank it when I was preparing to go on sale, but something like this happened today, so I brought the wine to my door to apologize. I'm really sorry, I'm really sorry." Wang Yi put the wine on the table, then clasped his hands together and apologized to Zhang Chen sincerely. The sincerity on his face is almost impossible to fault. If it is true, then Wang Yi can go to Oscar and become the best actor. I know this matter has nothing to do with Mr. Wang, but I just want a fair solution. Zhang Chen said calmly. It was impossible for him to directly forgive Wang Yi because of his personal arrival. However, Wang Yi waved his hand and said, "No, this matter has something to do with me, Mr. Zhang. I started out as a salesperson. To be in my line of work, you have to have a good attitude and good service. Let's not talk about whether the customer has any problems. No matter how bad the customer's attitude is, we can only obey. Shinjo Times is my largest business, with high-end quality and sky-high prices, so I have given repeated orders to maintain good service and attitude. But when something like this happened today, I can't forgive them, and I definitely can't forgive myself. I have thoroughly investigated the whole matter. You are a customer of my Shinjo Times and you have been treated extremely unfairly, so I deeply apologize. I will punish you with 3 drinks. Wang Yi stood up directly and skillfully picked up the Motai liquor that came with the hotel. Then he took a few drinking glasses and poured the wine without saying a word. Mr. Wang, now that the matter has been explained clearly, there is no need to be like this. You may have something to do tomorrow. Lee Waning immediately said, this is liquor, not beer. If you punish yourself with 3 drinks, don't you have to pour it here? No, 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 Mr. Zhang, let me tell you directly. No matter how much I am worth billions, I grew up as a child of a poor family. I have worked hard all the way up to this position. I know how to pretend to be elegant. I can be like ordinary people. I am sorry to Mr. Zhang for what happened today. I will punish myself for these 3 glasses of wine. After saying this, Wang Yi poured 3 glasses of wine directly and drank it all in one gulp. Full of sincerity. This time, Zhang Chen really didn't know what to say. To be honest, he was actually ready. As soon as Wang Yi came in, he would say a few words and then promise himself various benefits. But what I didn't expect was that Wang Yi was so direct and sincere. You must know that Wang Yi must have investigated his background, not to mention looking at himself condescendingly, but at least he wouldn't be like this, right? At this moment, Zhang Chen finally understood why Wang Yi was able to work his way from a small salesperson to the CEO of Shinjo Times. This kind of courage and sophistication is worth learning. Mr. Wang, for no other reason than these 3 glasses of wine, I will put this matter in the past and make a statement immediately. Zhang Chen also poured himself a glass of wine, but Wang Yi shook his head and stopped Zhang Chen. Mr. Zhang, drink this. Romane Conti, this wine is good, and this matter cannot end like this. You are angry. It seems too insincere to end it so simply. Wang Yi spoke very seriously. This. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly. In fact, at this point, it was enough. The boss came over to apologize in person, so what else? Isn't this ancient times? Could he still kill someone? Call. Wang Yi took a deep breath, then loosened his collar, and then spoke. Mr. Zhang, I understand all the ins and outs of this matter. If there is one thing about this matter that you did not do well, I will never do this. But after watching the video and listening to the recording, I know that this matter you are truly the victim. I, Wang Yi, used to work hard and have done everything. I was more vicious than anyone else, more ruthless than anyone else, and more treacherous than anyone else. But my mother has instilled in me a truth since I was a child. I can walk all over the world with reason, but I can't move even if I'm unreasonable. I, Wang Yi, have done all kinds of immoral things, but I never do anything bad. Maybe some people will laugh if I say it, but I still want to say it. I, Wang Yi, am a reasonable person. I am a businessman without treachery. He is a small businessman. People in my position have principles, and my principle, Wang Yi, is to be reasonable. This matter, no matter what, is my fault, Wang Yi, so Mr. Zhang, please accept my apology. Wang Yi stood up and bowed to Zhang Chen. This kind of courage made Zhang Chen really don't know what to say. Mr. Wang, you're welcome, you're welcome. Zhang Chen stood up and spoke quickly. To be honest, he himself was a little embarrassed. Wang Yi's apologetic attitude, whether it was for show or not, made Zhang Chen feel embarrassed. Mr. Wang, I accept this. This matter ends here and I will clarify it. Zhang Chen said. Wang Yi let out a breath, and then said, Thank you, Mr. Zhang, for your understanding, but I will discuss the aftermath with Mr. Zhang, and you can see what happens. First of all the employees involved will be fired. The female receptionist, the sales consultant, and the person in charge, Zhou Hua, will be fired for serious mistakes. I will also send a letter to all colleagues, telling them not to admit them and ban them for life. At the same time, we also have some information about their collection of black money. If necessary, we will let them in. When Wang Yi said this, his tone was very serious. Go in. Zhang Chen looked very calm, but at the same time, Wang Yi continued. I have brought the people, do you want to let them in? Good. Zhang Chen nodded, and then Wang Yi dialed a phone number and just said something casually. 5 minutes later, there was a knock on the door and Lee Waning opened the door. At that moment Zhou Hua, Wu Fangfang, and the female receptionist walked in with their heads lowered. The 3 of them had more or less injuries on their bodies, especially Wu Fangfang, whose face was red from being beaten. Kneel down. Wang Yi spoke coldly, with a strong aura that was completely different from just now. In an instant, the three of them knelt directly in front of Zhang Chen, trembling. At the same time, his subordinates delivered a box of cigars. Wang Yi immediately smiled, looked at Zhang Chen and said, "Mr. Zhang, these are the top cigars in Cuba. Come and try one." After saying that, he even pinched it off personally, trying to help Zhang Chen do it life and death. To be honest, Wang Yi can sit in this position without any problem. Zhang Chen took a puff of his cigar and looked at Zhou Hua and the three of them with cold eyes. Mr. Zhang, it's me who deserves to die. I was blinded by lard. Mr. Zhang, please let me go." Zhou Hua was the first to shout, kneeling on the ground, crying to heaven and earth. "Mr. Zhang, it's none of my business. It's mainly her. It's her fault. It has nothing to do with me." Wu Fangfong also cried and shouted. "Mr. Zhang, I'm sorry, it's my fault. I look down on others. Mr. Zhang, please let me go." The three of them were crying and shouting, and Zhang Chen's eyes were cold. "Forgive? Sorry, he will never forgive. You are already an adult and you have to take responsibility for what you do. If I did something wrong in this matter, I believe they will not let me go, right?" Zhang Chen sneered. Don't dare. Your Majesty has a lot, please let us go." "I really didn't mean it, Mr. Zhang, please let me go. I am old and young." They cried. "Who is not old? Who is not young? I forgive Xinzhou Times for this matter, but because of Mr. Wang and the three of you, I'm sorry, I won't forgive you." When Zhang Chen said this, Wang Yi understood what he meant and clapped his hands. Immediately, several bodyguards in black pulled the three of them away. After the others left, the room became much quieter. "Mr. Zhang, if nothing else happens, the three of them will be put on file for investigation tomorrow. Based on the money they embezzled, there is no problem in being sentenced to 3 to 5 years. As for the front desk, we have investigated it and found out that the front desk did this case. I've already had people find the evidence and show it to her parents, including her boyfriend, but I don't know that Mr. Zhang is not satisfied. Open an investigation. Turn the background? This is really cruel." Zhang Chen took a puff of his Cuban cigar and nodded. Then Wang Yi continued. "Then, I personally prepared a house with the best floor in the Xinzhou era and gave it to Mr. Zhang as compensation. In addition, this is a check for 10 million, which I hope Mr. Zhang will accept." Wang Yi was generous and generous. A Xinzhou era house, plus a check of 10 million. To be honest, this apology is absolutely fine. However, Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "Mr. Wang, you're out of touch like this. I'm just like you. I just need to be reasonable and resolve the matter. I don't want this house or this check." Zhang Chen doesn't want any money. If so, what would it look like? Wang Yi was surprised now, but he still spoke, thinking Zhang Chen was just embarrassed. But Zhang Chen repeatedly refused and his attitude was very firm. Now Wang Yi became even more curious. More than 20 million. He had investigated Zhang Chen, and he had an average background. He didn't know where the money came from, or how he got it, but it was not difficult to make some money these days, so he didn't have much doubt. He just felt that Zhang Chen should have his own way of making money. It was only 18 million, and Wang Yi didn't take it to heart at all. But what I didn't expect was that Zhang Chen would refuse. "Mr. Zhang, you don't have to pay for this money." Wang Yi said this, he insisted on giving it. "Mr. Wang, I really can't ask for this money. If you insist on giving it, then just donate it to Hope Primary School in our name. This happened. I will ask my friend to publicize it later. Isn't it beautiful?" Zhang Chen opened his mouth and thought of a good idea. "This is a good idea." Wang Yi nodded directly. Now that Xinzhou Times is encountering this kind of problem, to be honest, even if Zhang Chen stands up and tells the matter to be resolved, it will still have some impact. But if you donate directly to Hope Primary School, charity is the easiest thing to win over people's hearts, and it can widen it. Thinking of this, Wang Yi nodded and said, "Okay. That's it. I'll add another 10 million and donate it to Hope Primary School in the name of Xinzhou Times and Mr. Zhang. How about that?" Wang Yi said this. "Can. Donate it and you won't have to worry about others gossiping." But soon, Zhang Chen looked at Wang Yi and asked Lee Waning to leave temporarily until there were only 2 people left in the room. Zhang Chen asked, "Mr. Wang, I want to ask, does Mr. Wang hate me if I do this?" Zhang Chen opened his mouth, looked directly at Wang Yi, and asked directly. As soon as he said this, Wang Yi's expression gradually solidified. Zhang Chen's question made Wang Yi stunned. He looked into Zhang Chen's eyes, and then took a puff of his Cuban cigar. It's impossible not to hate it. I just had a big deal, which is related to the future destiny of the Shinjo era. Just because of your incident, it's 80% likely to be ruined. Wang Yi said seriously, and Zhang Chen also listened carefully. But, after I think about it carefully, I don't hate you anymore, and I don't have anything to hate you for. In any case, my subordinates did something wrong in this matter, and I am very happy that it was you who came to trouble me. If it were another powerful person who came to trouble me, Shinjo Times might have faced a huge disaster. So I don't hate you, on the contrary I am grateful to you. Wang Yi said extremely seriously, speaking from the bottom of his heart. This is someone who does great things. Zhang Chen admired him very much. He didn't say much and just opened the bottle of Romanée Conti and drank with Wang Yi. It's okay to open wine, but it needs to be decanted professionally, otherwise the taste will be ruined. Wang Yi was also very happy when he heard the wine was opened, because this was the only bottle of this wine left in his cellar. You have to be so particular. Zhang Chen was a little surprised, but Lee Waning immediately said with a smile. Mr. Zhang, this bottle of wine is worth millions, so of course you have to pay attention to it. Mr. Wang, I have learned a little about red wine culture and know how to sober up easily. Now I will help you sober up. When Wang Yi heard this, he nodded immediately, then looked at Zhang Chen and said, This bottle of wine was auctioned in France for 1.45 million. It is the most expensive wine in my cellar. This time because I brought it here specifically for this matter. 1.45 million? Zhang Chen was really surprised. Although 1.45 million was nothing to him, buying a bottle of wine with 1.45 million was a bit exaggerated. At the same time, Zhang Chen also understood that Wang Yi was full of integrity. Mr. Wang, I have some impulses regarding this matter. Zhang Chen had some emotions. The fact that Wang Yi could bring out a bottle of wine like this proved that Wang Yi was really anxious. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so grand. However, Wang Yi waved his hand and said directly, Mr. Zhang, let me tell you directly, I admire you very much. This matter is my subordinate's fault anyway, but in this case, Mr. Zhang can think of it in advance. So many points, spread using new media at the same time, can be said to have taught me a huge lesson. To be honest, I think this lesson is worth it. At the same time, I also admire you, Mr. Zhang. Wang Yi is telling the truth. Zhang Chen didn't know what to say. Mr. Wang, don't talk too much about Mr. Zhang. I'm a bit older than you. Just call me Xiao Zhang. Zhang Chen chuckled. Wang Yi nodded. Indeed, he was 47 years old this year. Zhang Chen looked to be in his early 20s, and Mr. Yang's mouth was indeed a little bad. Okay, I'll call you Brother Zhang, and you can call me Brother Wang. I like to make smart friends. Wang Yi said with a smile. Zhang Chen also smiled. However, Zhang Chen didn't really take it seriously. It was just a polite comment. It was impossible to say that after just meeting him, he called me brother and brother with great affection. Who believes it? But one thing Zhang Chen can be sure of is that Wang Yi has no resentment towards him. I sobered up quickly. Lee Waning poured a glass for Zhang Chen and Wang Yi, and Zhang Chen also asked Lee Waning to pour a glass for herself. The three clinked their glasses and then began to taste. Zhang Chen took a bite of the $1 million Romanée Conti. To be honest, it's bitter. The first bite was extremely painful. Zhang Chen really couldn't feel any sweetness, it was really bitter. It is also bitter and astringent. It feels like there is a rotten cork in the red wine. It does not taste good, very bad. But soon, a sweet aroma of red wine appeared from the throat and nose, like a breath coming back. Now Zhang Chen took another sip, but it still didn't taste good. But soon, the smell of wine appeared again after waiting for a while. This is very interesting. Zhang Chen drank several sips, frowning while drinking, but soon couldn't help but relax. The more he drinks, the better it tastes to Zhang Chen. Wang Yi saw that Zhang Chen kept pouring wine. Although he said it was for Zhang Chen, since Zhang Chen opened it, he was not polite, so he didn't care and quickly filled more than half of his glass. Lee Waning took a small sip and stopped drinking. She was not strong enough to drink. And the red wine has a lot of staying power. Just like that, A bottle of Romani Conti worth more than 1 million yuan was finished by Zhang Chen and Wang Yi. Good wine. Zhang Chen couldn't help but sigh, this red wine is indeed delicious. Wang Yi also nodded, and then said, unfortunately, this kind of wine is too difficult to buy. There will be an auction in the UK in a while. There may be Romani. Then I will buy another bottle and treat Brother Zhang to a drink. Drink. Wang Yi said this. Okay, thank you very much, Brother Wang. Zhang Chen nodded and then sent Wang Yi away. Later, Zhang Chen turned on the computer and contacted Shushu Baobao and others to inform them of what was going to happen. The misunderstanding was explained clearly, and Zhang Chen came forward in person and said that Wang Yi came to apologize and donated 30 million to build Hope Primary School. At this time, netizens also exploded. Things happened quickly, and Wang Yi came forward to clarify them quickly. At the same time, in order to take responsibility for his mistakes, he was willing to donate 30 million to build a Hope Primary School. There is absolutely no problem with this public relations method. There is no need for Zhang Chen to handle the next matter, people from Xinzhou era will handle it. But this matter is not completely over yet. Zhang Chen posted screenshots of the media company and some people who had previously blackmailed him online. The general meaning is very simple. If he does not come in person to apologize, even if he is trying to sell the iron, he must hire a lawyer to help him defend his rights. That's right, Zhang Chen makes no difference and doesn't let anyone go. And as soon as the news came out, the media companies that had previously smeared Zhang Chen, as well as the netizens on the list, could not bear the pressure and started chatting with Zhang Chen privately. Some wrote letters admitting their mistake, some slapped themselves in the mouth, and some even panicked. They were so afraid of being f***ed by Zhang Chen that they knelt down and took a video to show Zhang Chen. Therefore, Zhang Chen did not continue to pursue the case. After all, they are netizens, so a little punishment is enough. There is no need to be too harsh. To put it bluntly, they are just a bunch of mean-mouthed people. There is no need to argue. Just like that, after finishing a series of things and drinking so much red wine just now, Zhang Chen almost fell asleep. As for Lee Waning, while Zhang Chen was surfing the internet, she fell asleep on the sofa. At noon, Zhang Chen opened his eyes. My head suddenly hurt. The reason was simple. The wine I drank yesterday had too much stamina. Red wine is like this, it has so much stamina that it scares people to death. Feeling a splitting headache, Zhang Chen lay on the bed for a full hour before he recovered. Mad, it's really not suitable for drinking. Zhang Chen got up, took a shower, and then heard Li Qingwan's voice. You have the perfect figure. Following Li Qingwan's voice, Zhang Chen looked at the other person, who looked at him as if looking at a work of art. You're awake. Zhang Chen was very casual. He took out a bottle of mineral water from the refrigerator and drank it all in one gulp. It can be said that Zhang Chen's figure is already in great shape. Although he has not exercised much, the body-shaping pills are very effective. The mermaid line, love handle, unicorn arms, and male dog waist have already taken some prototypes. In a few days, Zhang Chen will be able to participate in the body beauty contest. Moreover, Zhang Chen's height is also gradually growing. After measuring it, he is already 1.8 meters tall, coupled with these characteristics. He is simply a super handsome guy, with both temperament and looks. You have a really good figure. Lee Waning couldn't help but speak. Do you want to see clearly? Zhang Chen looked at Lee Waning and smiled. Okay. Wait for me to take a shower. Lee Waning smiled mischievously. Okay. You go and wash it. Zhang Chen also joked, but Lee Waning shook her head and said, I don't have any clothes to change, otherwise I would have experienced it today, and I would be so stupid. Lee Waning clearly looks like an inexperienced girl at first glance, but she is so bold when speaking. As expected, many girls are the kings of talking. Zhang Chen stopped joking and asked, how are things going in Xinzhou Times? It has been completely resolved. The public relations of Xinzhou Times are also very good. 30 million yuan was donated to Hope Primary School. In addition, Mr. Wang personally apologized and got your understanding. The danger was saved. Now there is a lot of positive news. Lee Waning said this. That's good. Zhang Chen nodded, and then continued. But you still have to accompany me to look at the house today, but don't look at the new house. I thought about it. It would be best to buy a second-hand renovated house. It's just that the original owner hasn't lived there much, so the decoration needs to be better. Buying a resale house is not something to be ashamed of. There is nothing secondhand about a house, it's just whether the decoration style is old. Okay. Lee Waning nodded, and then immediately used the computer to log in to the internal information and investigate the files. Not to mention, there is a house like this. Mr. Zhang, there is a very nice large flat in the city center. It was handed over last year. It has a real estate certificate, and the landlord spent more than 3 million on European-style decoration. The price of the house is more than 7 million. This apartment very nice. The more Lee Waning talked about it, the more she felt it was very good. After hearing this, Zhang Chen became somewhat interested. Unfortunately, the car was parked in Xinzhou times, so he called the front desk to prepare a car. Viewing a house is very important. During this trip, Lee Waning had contacted everything and had someone deliver the keys. After getting the key, Zhang Chen went to take a look in person. The real estate area is 225, and the actual area is more than 400, which is larger than Jinyang Baiqi, and the boss has indeed spent money to decorate it with the highest quality materials inside and out. 7 bedrooms, 4 living rooms and 4 bathrooms. The most important thing is that after the decoration was completed, because formaldehyde needed to be removed, I left it dry for a year and bought a lot of formaldehyde removal tools. Now that the formaldehyde is gone, I plan to develop elsewhere when I want to live in it. That's why it's sold. Zhang Chen was very satisfied, and then Lee Waning negotiated the price directly. The total price, including all handling fees, was a total of 10.5 million. The boss was also free and easy. He knew that Zhang Chen paid in full and did not need a loan, which would save him so much trouble, so he just said an auspicious number, 980. Won, sounds good. Because the actual house price is definitely 8.5 million, and the decoration cost of 3 million is only counted as 1/3. In other words, after counting the material cost for Zhang Chen, the labor cost is not included. The most expensive thing these days is labor costs. After confirming everything, Zhang Chen went directly to the purchase process. There was no need for Zhang Chen to run around. Li Qingwan took care of everything. After the contract was settled, Zhang Chen transferred 9.8 million. As for the real estate book, you need to wait 2 days to get it, which is not a big problem. After buying the house, Zhang Chen let out a sigh of relief. After much tossing and tossing, I finally accomplished something big, which is very satisfying. In fact, if you search again, you can find something better, but Zhang Chen doesn't need to delay. There is a one-click money-making system, let alone, it is really not lacking. It's wonderful to live in your own house. After a busy day, Zhang Chen invited Li Qingwan and Ma Tian to have a meal. The car was also delivered. After eating and drinking, Zhang Chen returned directly to his home. 10 page M. Standing on the balcony, Zhang Chen looked at Nanchang City. The lights are bright and you pour yourself a glass of red wine. A feeling of being a successful person arises spontaneously. However, there is another reason why Zhang Chen is so anxious to buy a house. That's points. That's right, it's Shenhao points. Including the previous ones, Zhang Chen currently has 1,260 Shenhao points on hand. There is 1 bronze draw and 1 silver draw available. You can get tens of millions of rebate cards in the bronze lottery, but I don't know what you can get in the silver lottery. System. Start the bronze lottery. Let's start with a bronze lottery. He was looking forward to it. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for drawing the bronze reward and obtaining the primary skill, Eye of the Workplace. Eyes on the workplace efficacy. You can see a person's workability and what position he is suitable for. Skill? Zhang Chen didn't expect that he would draw a skill, and this skill seemed to be okay. If it said it was useful, he would definitely not use it for the time being, but if it said it was useless, he might be able to use it in the future. Soon Zhang Chen will conduct his second bronze lottery. He is looking forward to it. If there is another rebate card, it will be great. Now that the money is all spent, if it costs more than 4 million a day, Zhang Chen feels a little short for some reason and must improve it. Ding! Congratulations to the host for receiving the bronze reward, and has already loaned 100 million yuan to the case. This time in the lottery, the pointer landed on a piece of paper. However, Zhang Chen was a little surprised when he heard the system sound. A temporary IOU of 100 million commercial funds? What is this? If you look carefully, the data immediately appears in front of you. 100 million business capital temporary loan note. Function. It can be directly exchanged for 100 million funds, but this fund can only be used for commercial investment. At the same time, the IOU is only rented for 1 year and must be repaid after 1 year. There is no interest. If it cannot be repaid, the system income will be directly deducted until deduction completed. Understand, it is to lend oneself 100 million, but it can only be used for business. To put it bluntly, it is equivalent to borrowing 100 million from the bank, but without paying interest, and there is no need to pay installments. Just pay it back in a year. This stuff works. These days, in an era when money makes money, 100 million can be used steadily to make some money. Of course, if you want to make a lot of money, you will definitely not be able to rely on 100 million alone. After the bronze lottery ended, Zhang Chen immediately turned his attention to the silver lottery. System. Conduct a silver lottery. Zhang Chen was a little excited. The bronze rewards were relatively rich, so he didn't know what good things he could get in this silver lottery. Select the silver lottery and a new big roulette will appear immediately. The new big roulette wheel has a total of 12 items, some are similar to cards, some are similar to books, and there are also dark elixirs. It seems that there are many samples. Ding dong. Do you want to spend 1,000 Shenhao points to conduct a silver lottery? A system inquiry sounded. Yes. As Zhang Chen spoke firmly, the pointer suddenly started to turn. Zhang Chen knew that the biggest prizes were at the top and bottom. The top one is a card, but I don't know what card it is. And the bottom one is a document. The pointer turned little by little, then gradually slowed down and landed on something similar to an apple. But in the end, the pointer moved slowly. The tiny pointer landed on the bottom prize. Damn it, I won the jackpot. Zhang Chen was overjoyed. He was very excited. The Dusha consumer rebate card was also a grand prize before. He didn't know what the silver grand prize was. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for drawing the silver reward in the red-headed document of Nanchang School District Planning. What? School District Planning red-headed document? Zhang Chen was stunned for a moment. What does this thing mean? Nanchang School District Planning red-headed document? Zhang Chen really didn't understand. However, soon, attributes appeared in his eyes. Nanchang City School District Planning red-header document. Function. It records the planning and arrangements of all school districts in Nanchang City within the next year, top secret information. After seeing the detailed attributes, Zhang Chen suddenly understood. He understood the school district's plan. You know, although Nanchang is a second-tier city, the most famous thing in Nanchang is actually its schools. The top 3 education schools in the country are all in Nanchang. Jiangnan Province is even known as the hometown of test scores, with records breaking every year. Therefore, many wealthy people from other places will send their children to study in Nanchang City. But many schools, not to mention the ones you want to study in, some really well-known schools cannot be admitted at all and can only be divided by school districts. So in other words, households in many school districts in Nanchang City are worth a lot of money. Zhang Chen himself probably knew that the average price of housing in some relatively key school districts was around 25,000. 25,000 may not sound like a sky-high price, but what does it mean compared with the hundreds of thousands for a school district house in Shanghai? But what kind of houses are these 25,000 school district houses? They're all old houses. To put it harshly, some of them are unfinished buildings. No one wants this kind of house that costs 5,000 yuan per square meter, but unfortunately, as long as it is divided into school district housing, it will be terrible. So in theory, this is really a big prize. At least in the eyes of all real estate tycoons, this kind of thing is priceless. Because unless you are a very big boss with strong capital, you will not be able to get real core internal information. Especially this kind of red header file. This is an absolute file, and leaking it is illegal and extremely serious. Please give me flowers. However, Zhang Chen passed the system and nothing happened. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen directly extracted the document without saying a word, and then began to watch it carefully. Open a file. There are only 4 pages. The first page is all about some very long-winded official discourse, and the second page is almost the same. But it's different on the third page. The core of focus appears. Nanchang Primary School is divided into Donghu Street, Zhangqin West Road, Zhangqin North Road, Railway 1 Village, Railway 2 Village, and Railway 3 Village. Nanchang 4 primary schools, is divided into Linan Street, Zhongshan North Road, Taoyuan Road, Taoyuan North Road, Anxiang Road, and Sima Interchange Road. The third and fourth pages were divided into areas. Zhang Chen turned on the computer and started comparing them one by one. First of all, the school district housing also depends on the school. It must be a good school, and the surrounding housing prices will increase. If the school is not good, the price will increase by a hair. Oh. Through online research and comparing the documents in his hand, Zhang Chen quickly knew which schools were particularly good. Nanchang Primary School, Nanchang 3 Primary School, Nanchang 10th Primary School, Nanchang No. 1 Middle School, Nanchang No. 5 Middle School, Nanchang 10th Middle School, Nanchang No. 27 Middle School, and Jing'an Foreign Languages School. There are 8 schools in total, which can be said to be the most popular schools in Nanchang. For the other schools, the surrounding housing prices are very uniform. In other words, there is almost no operability, even with those big real estate developers also already buying it. After all, those real estate companies know how to predict themselves even if they have no information. Among the above 8 schools, Zhang Chen carefully selected street areas. For example, Nanchang Primary School is divided into 6 areas. However, 5 of these 6 areas were originally school district buildings. Only one, Zhanqin North Road, is a newly divided area. However, this Zhanqin North Road is not the same as Zhanqin North Road. The West Road is very close, so it is more or less affected and the price is relatively high. In other words, anyone with a certain business acumen can actually feel that Zhanqin North Road will also be divided into school district housing. So, if Nanchang is small, it will be difficult to have room for maneuver. To put it bluntly, Zhang Chen wants to use a capital of 100 million to earn 1 billion, so he must find the cheapest housing area that can also sell for the highest price. It's impossible to invest 100 million and earn 20 to 30 million, right? Isn't it better to just sit at home and play for 4 or 5 days when you have enough to eat and nothing to do? Then the money will come. Earning 1 billion is Zhang Chen's goal. As for this red-headed document, Zhang Chen feels that once the operation is perfect, it may be worth more than $1 billion. 4-page M. From the time he got up until now, Zhang Chen has been busy here and there for 4 hours, looking up data. After 4 hours of detailed inspection, Zhang Chen finally selected 3 places. Hengyuan Road, Nanchang No. 10 Middle School. Shimao Road, No. 27 Middle School, Nanchang. And the most exciting thing for Zhang Chen is the location of Jing'an Foreign Languages College. Because Zhang Chen checked information on the internet and learned that Jing'an Foreign Languages Institute would choose to settle in Nanchang in about half a year. This is a big deal. People who don't study may not know how awesome this school is, but anyone who has children or has attended junior high school or high school will know how powerful Jing'an Foreign Languages Institute is, and the teaching staff is extremely terrifying. In a place like Nanchang City, the choice of Jing'an Foreign Languages College to join is enough to prove how strong this school is. The principal of 163 and Jing'an Foreign Languages also said that choosing Nanchang is to become one of the best colleges in Nanchang. So since Jing'an Foreign Language School announced the information a year ago, countless dignitaries have tried to enter the school through the back door, but they have been unable to do so unless the top leader of the Education Bureau comes forward. But at this level, we don't dare to mess around now, because the whole city is paying attention to this matter. The site selection for Jing'an Foreign Languages School has already appeared. These places are extremely important, especially Ping'an West Road. There is also a large circle of unfinished buildings. If this area of unfinished buildings can be collected, earned by blood. Zhang Chen uses the simplest way to calculate. Nanchang No. 10 Middle School and Nanchang No. 27 Middle School. If you operate these 2 middle schools properly, your income can be around 300 million. And this Jing'an Foreign Language School, once operated properly, can at least make a profit of more than 100 million. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen couldn't help but get excited. Although I make 4 million a day, in front of 1 billion is still a bit shocking. And the 1 billion that Zhang Chen mentioned is completely based on the price of housing in the school districts around some key middle schools. If we assume that this foreign language school explodes, it is extremely popular, and if we build new housing, the price. Zhang Chen felt his scalp numb. However, Jing'an Foreign Languages School will not select a location until about half a year later. This red-headed document was issued by the Jiangnan Education Bureau, but it has not yet been sent to Nanchang City. It can be said that this document is still in the safe of a certain boss. It is definitely not maybe issued. So Zhang Chen still has half a year, so there is no need to rush. But the first two are different. The order will be issued immediately, and it will take a month at most. So Zhang Chen planned to jump in quickly without wasting any time. According to the classification in the document, the school district housing of Nanchang No. 10 Middle School will be announced at the end of next month. An additional new place was added, which is Hengyuan Road. Hengyuan Road is an old housing area. The area is not very big, but the population is relatively dense. Zhang Chen plans to make profit in the simplest way. Close the house. To put it bluntly, if you offer a high price, whoever is willing to sell will sell it, and whoever is not willing will get it. The reason is simple. The news about housing in the school district will be announced soon, that is, at the end of next month. In this case, if you want to buy this land through the name of the company and then demolish it, you are guaranteed to have a lot of trouble. Fund registration is a big problem. Even if you have enough funds, you still need land transactions. At the same time, there is another point, that is, once you want to acquire this place, it will involve demolition every day. This group of people became red-eyed and waited for the high price one by one. When the time comes. Haha. So instead of going through so much trouble, it's better to take the simplest approach and close the house. Because there is no purchase limit in Nanchang City. This seems to be the stupidest way, but it is also the best way, because time does not allow Zhang Chen to do other operations. Wanting to take over the house, Zhang Chen called Lee Waning without even thinking. Hello, Mr. Zhang. What's the matter? Lee Waning answered the phone instantly, and at the same time she was a little curious as to why Zhang Chen was calling. Waning, come see me. I want to buy a house. Zhang Chen spoke directly without talking nonsense. Want to buy a house again? Lee Waning was a little surprised now, but Zhang Chen didn't explain much on the phone and just asked Lee Waning to come first. Lee Waning didn't say anything. After hanging up the phone, she immediately rushed to Zhang Chen. His company is in Fortune Plaza, so it's not too far from Zhang Chen. About 25 minutes later, Lee Waning arrived at Zhang Chen's home. At this moment, Zhang Chen organized all the information and put it in the safe. Mr. Zhang, you don't think it's uncomfortable to live here? Do you want to change to another apartment? Lee Waning is a little curious. Others may not think so, but Zhang Chen thinks it is possible. Am I that kind of person? Zhang Chen rolled his eyes at Lee Waning, then took out his iPad and showed it to Lee Waning. The area displayed on the iPad is around Hengyuan Road. I plan to speculate in real estate. This Hengyuan Road, I think, will definitely have development prospects in the future. I want to buy all the houses here, as many as I want. Zhang Chen said very seriously. However, Lee Waning was a little surprised. She looked at Zhang Chen and wanted to say something, but after thinking about it, she took out her iPad for business analysis. 20 minutes later, Lee Waning shook her head and said, Mr. Zhang, although I don't know what you do, I can use my professional perspective to say that Hengyuan Road is not worth commercial investment. First of all, Hengyuan Road is an old city, but it is not the oldest old city. Over the years, although Nanchang City has been vigorously developing its economy, it has always developed from the worst areas. Hengyuan Road happens to be an area that is not very bad, but has nothing to do with good. According to predictions, this area will to develop. You have to wait at least 10 years. It is very unwise for you to buy now. Lee Waning said this. After careful analysis, the 3.5 looks very cute. And the more Zhang Chen heard these words, the more comfortable he became. Just suck. Just have no development prospects. If it really has great development prospects, it's not easy to close it. It's okay. Trust my vision. Now use all your abilities to help me scan the houses on Hengyuan Road. The average price on Hengyuan Road is 6,000 yuan. I will increase the price to 6,500 yuan. I charge you whatever you want, and I'll give you every penny of your company's commission. Zhang Chen said seriously. Lee Waning was a little surprised now. You have said so, but Zhang Chen is still like this? But as a real estate consultant, what she does is analyze. After the analysis, it is up to Zhang Chen whether to buy it or not. So Lee Waning did not continue to dissuade, but started trading. Mr. Zhang, according to current statistics, there are a total of 75 houses for sale on Hengyuan Road, with an average price of 6,000 yuan. Do you want to buy them all? Lee Waning spoke. These are currently available resources. What's the total price? Zhang Chen asked. Most of Hengyuan Road are old-fashioned residential areas. Each apartment is only 60 to 70 square meters, and the total price is 30 million, including agency fees and transfer fees. Lee Waning said this. 30 million, 75 suites. Zhang Chen has calculated that according to the school district housing around Nanchang No. 10 Middle School, the average price is 23,000 yuan, but Hengyuan Road is an old city after all, so it is impossible to sell it for 23,000 yuan. But selling it to 20,000 yuan is no problem at all. In other words, if these 75 houses were purchased at an average price of 6,100 square meters, the profit would be 14,000 per square meter, and the profit would be 73.5 million. After deducting personal tax and related handling fees, the net profit should be about 70 million. Buy them all. After the purchase, the price will be increased to 6,500, and we will buy them all. Zhang Chen directly used the 100 million temporary loan for business investment, cashed out 100 million, and then transferred the money to Li Qingwan's company account. 100 million? Mr. Zhang, that's a big deal. Li Qingwan was really surprised. The house on Hengyuan Road is an old house. It needs a subway but not a subway. It needs transportation but not traffic. It must be said that it is more densely populated, but it is definitely not suitable for long-term investment. 22 Anyone who deals in real estate knows that location, equipment, and government policies are the three major elements for investing in real estate. However, there is nothing on Hengyuan Road, so why buy it? Real estate is indeed hot nowadays, but it still depends on the location. Because from a rational analysis, the current housing development in China is completely sufficient, and it is almost impossible to speculate in real estate. What is the main focus of real estate companies now? High-end area in the city center school district. Integrated super commercial and residential area. The former is location plus equipment, and the latter is integration. Office buildings, shopping malls, primary schools, and junior high schools are all together for bundled sales. But there's really no need to buy an old house. Lee Waning couldn't help but remind Zhang Chen again, but Zhang Chen turned a deaf ear and still chose to buy. At the moment, Lee Waning had nothing to say and continued to trade, asking many of her agencies to post information about house closings. At the same time, Zhang Chen looked at Lee Waning and used his workplace eyes. Let's see what's going on with Lee Waning. Soon a set of information appeared. Character: Lee Waning. Gender: female, virgin. Suitable occupation: real estate. Career potential: 4 stars, 5 stars is full. Evaluation: extremely excellent real estate personnel who can be recruited as employees. 4-star rating. This is pretty cool. Although I'm not sure how good 4 stars are, the system says it's good, so it's really good. Waning. Zhang Chen poured a cup of coffee, sat next to Lee Waning, and smiled slightly. What's wrong? Mr. Zhang. Lee Waning felt inexplicably that something bad was going to happen. Do you think I'm nice to you? Zhang Chen chuckled. However, Lee Waning said directly, Mr. Zhang, if you have something to say, just tell me directly. If you like me, I can't sacrifice myself. Lee Waning was joking. However, Zhang Chen nodded and said, I really like you. Zhang Chen said very directly. Lee Waning was surprised now. Mr. Zhang, you. Don't get me wrong, what I mean when I say I like you is that I want to recruit you to come and work for you. Zhang Chen explained clearly, but there was a hint of disappointment in Lee Waning's eyes. Huh? Going to work? Here? Lee Waning soon showed her confusion again. I plan to set up a real estate company, so I want to invite you to come and work. Zhang Chen said seriously. Real estate company? Mr. Zhang, this. Lee Waning felt it was a bit too sudden. How much is your monthly salary? Since he didn't want to go to so much trouble, Zhang Chen directly asked the other party how much his monthly salary was. 30,000. Li Qingwan replied subconsciously. 30,000 a month is considered a gold-collar level in Nanchang City. High wages indeed. I'll give you 100,000 a month and give you a dividend at the end of the year. What do you say? Zhang Chen directly offered a high price, with a monthly salary of 100,000 millions per year. In today's society, what is the level of an annual salary of 1 million? Only those who are the main person in charge of the three giant companies can get an annual salary of 1 million. However, Lee Waning did not agree directly, but asked, Mr. Zhang, are you a real estate agent or do you want to set up a real estate company? I want to set up a real estate company, Zhang Chen answered directly. At that moment, Lee Waning shook her head and said, Mr. Zhang, forgive me for not accepting this. Although 100,000 a month does sound exaggerated, Wayu Company is a big company. You can just set up a company casually. Now the real estate business has no imagination. It's so easy to do, so I may not be able to agree to it. This is a smart guy. Zhang Chen's 100,000 a month, at first glance, sounds really awesome. But in fact, Zhang Chen wants the company to have no company, wants people to have no one, just talk and give him 100,000 yuan a month, which sounds good, but the question is what if the company goes bankrupt? If she leaves Wayu, her salary will definitely drop a lot if she goes back. Even if she goes to another company, I'm sorry to say that it takes a long time to integrate into a company when she is new. She has worked in her own company for more than 3 years. If she continues to work, she will be promoted to supervisor. The future is not bright, but it is definitely not bad. So she refused. Lee Wanqing's refusal did not make Zhang Chen feel unhappy. On the contrary, Lee Wanqing's refusal made Zhang Chen fall in love with Lee Wanqing even more. If you come to work with yourself after hearing a monthly salary of 100,000 yuan, then to be honest, it will not be of much use. If you have some money, it will be poached. Who dares to ask for it? Wanqing, let's make a bet. The bet is very simple. If you win, I will give you a supercar. If you lose, you can work for me. How about that? Zhang Chen smiled. Supercar? What kind of betting method? Lee Wanqing was very curious. Do you think Hengyuan Road cannot be developed or constructed? Zhang Chen said this. Lee Wanqing nodded and answered with certainty. In this way, let's make a bet. I bet that within 2 months, the house price here on Hengyuan Road will skyrocket to 20,000. Do you believe it? Zhang Chen smiled. As soon as he said this, Lee Wanqing frowned immediately. Skyrocketed to 20,000. A shabby place that can be sold with an average price of 6,000 yuan, sold for 20,000 yuan? Demolition. Lee Wanqing immediately started data analysis and turned on the computer. About half an hour later, Lee Wanqing said, It's impossible. Hengyuan Road belongs to the old city. Although it is densely populated with a population of 5,000 households, it is absolutely impossible to demolish it commercially. Taking into account the elderly, 307 children, etc., demolition is absolutely impossible. It will cause a lot of trouble. Moreover, demolition will not bring any benefits at all. It is impossible to build a commercial center and it is impossible to do other projects. Possibly, so the sudden increase from 6,000 to 20,000 is simply a fantasy. What Lee Wanqing said is absolutely correct. The entire area of Hengyuan Road has a population of approximately 5,000 households. But in fact, Hengyuan Road is divided into a school district and housing is only an old city area with almost 2,000 houses. Some of the 2,000 houses are necessary to live in and will hardly be sold. In addition, there are some people who have children at home and are really considering selling their houses. The maximum is 1,000 houses. This is still a situation where the price is particularly good, down. Otherwise, who has nothing to do but sell their house? Therefore, Zhang Chen also expects to receive 300 to 500 houses. This is the first pot of gold. It is impossible to become fat in one go. You don't have to worry about the method. I'm just asking you, do you want to gamble or not? If you lose, I will give you a monthly salary of 100,000 yuan as I said before. How about that? Zhang Chen smiled. The bet is on a supercar. If you lose, you will come to work and get 100,000 yuan a month. All fools know that you can bet. After thinking for 10 minutes, Lee Wanqing finally nodded and said, Okay. Then I'll bet that I write more about Mr. Yang's supercars. In the end, Lee Wanqing believed that a miracle would never happen on Hengyuan Road, so she agreed directly. There is no basis for what you say. Come on, record a video, or you will regret it later. Zhang Chen smiled. Lee Wanqing also recorded a video with special cooperation. After the video was recorded, Zhang Chen stopped talking nonsense and continued to let Lee Wanqing purchase it. Just like this time passed little by little. In this way, a whole month passed in the blink of an eye. For a whole month, the one-click money-making system earned 129 million. It stands to reason that Zhang Chen directly chose to increase the speed of making money. But Zhang Chen didn't do that, because Zhang Chen knew very well that Nanchang No. 10 Middle School was his top priority right now. So in addition to leaving a few million for himself, Zhang Chen invested all the remaining money in the real estate market. Such sweeping house collections naturally attracted the attention of many real estate companies on Hengyuan Road. Not only the real estate company, but also the people living on Hengyuan Road were surprised. After all, who would want such a haunted house? So rumors quickly emerged that this place was going to be demolished. Many people were overjoyed when this incident came out, but soon investigated through various means and found that demolition was impossible. Demolition is impossible, so why should the houses be taken away? Now many residents have doubts. As for the real estate companies, they are also curious. The final conclusion is that this is a big mistake. Although I don't know what this big bad guy wants to do, all the real estate companies on Hengyuan Road are watching the excitement and feel that a bad real estate company has entered the market. Zhang Chen must be very pleased with this situation. Moreover, Zhang Chen asked Lee Waning to release the news, saying that he was a big boss who was deceived and wanted to rent out some B&Bs, so he bought a lot of houses, which was very stupid. The news came out as soon as it came out. Now the residents of Hengyuan Road finally understood. B&B is a very popular type of rental house nowadays. The house is decorated into a small hotel and then rented out for 200 to 300 yuan a day. This kind of B&B is generally found in tourist cities, similar to places like Nanchang City, where there is no tourism culture at all. What's the point of traveling? Staying in a B&B is just a way to die. What's even more terrifying is that Zhang Chen's purchase price was 7,000 square meters. It was 6,000 square meters before, which was an increase of 1,000 yuan. That is to say, as rumors spread, many people who wanted to change their houses, or those who wanted to take advantage, began to sell their houses. Hengyuan Road is an old house. Many people originally planned to sell their houses, but now a fool like Zhang Chen appears and they are all rushing to sell them. But Lee Waning also made a very detailed plan, which roughly means, even if he pays a high price, Zhang Chen can only receive 400 suites at most. Because Hengyuan Road is an old house, many people of the older generation are unwilling to leave. It's impossible to sell the house and then use the money to rent, right? So even under such circumstances, Zhang Chen has only received 350 sets so far, which cost a total of 160 million. There is still about 40 million left. He will increase his efforts later and follow the 50 to 60 in case of one set. You can receive another 70 or 80 sets. In terms of funds, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. In this way, more than 20 days passed in the blink of an eye. With Zhang Chen's various rumors and increased efforts, he finally collected a total of 420 houses. It can be said that Zhang Chen has basically collected all the houses that can be sold on Hengyuan Road. The remaining houses are basically for people to live in. Unless the price can be increased to 91,000, otherwise, if you sell the house, where can you buy a new house? The average price of new houses in Nanchang City is more than 8,000 yuan. This is still a relatively remote place. The average price of houses in slightly better locations is more than 10,000 yuan. In good locations, the average price is 15,000 to 20,000 yuan. In prime locations, prices start at 20,000 yuan. So it's basically the end. At this point, Zhang Chen has 100 million in funds. Simply, Zhang Chen was more direct and directly chose to increase profits. That's right, it's about increasing revenue. Now he earns 4.23 million a day. If it were before, Zhang Chen would have thought it was enough, but now Zhang Chen feels that more than 4 million is just enough for ordinary expenses. Of course, this very common expense refers to the expenses of wealthy people. For example, Wang Yi, a bottle of wine costs more than 1 million. Zhang Chen's 4 million a day is really nothing. It must be improved. Ding, do you want to spend 100 million to increase revenue? Yes. As Zhang Chen gave the order, the system suddenly sounded. Ding dong, after spending 100 million, the income has been successfully increased. Congratulations to the host. The current income is 6,944.4.43 per minute, and the daily income is expected to reach 10 million. The system sounds. 10 million a day? Double the improvement? This is not bad. Before, Zhang Chen thought that the maximum increase would be 1,000 yuan, but he didn't expect that the increase would be doubled. I used to earn 4.23 million a day, but now I earn 10 million a day. This is simply a qualitative improvement. 10 million a day. A small goal for 10 days, 300 million a month. 3.6 billion a year. To be honest, with a yearly net income of 3.6 billion, it is almost considered one of the top 500 companies in China. This is a net income of 3.6 billion. If Zhang Chen hadn't told Zhang Chen rationally that this was a daily payment, I'm afraid Zhang Chen wouldn't even be planning to buy any real estate. However, we still have to develop industries. Let's not talk about whether the system can last forever. Even if it can last forever, it is impossible to just throw money away after it goes out, right? It is best to have a business identity. Thinking of this, Zhang Chen immediately opened his attribute list and looked at it. Character: Zhang Chen. Current income: 6,944.4.3 per second. One-click promotion: 50 E. Shenhao points: 10,027. In this month, Zhang Chen spent more than 100 million out of his own pocket, so he had 10,000 Shenhao points. Zhang Chen has been saving these divine points. You can win something worth billions in the silver lottery, but what about the gold lottery? Naturally, Zhang Chen planned to win the gold lottery for the first time. In the current situation, King Zhao's Zhang Chen chose to start the gold lottery without hesitation. System: start the lottery, gold lottery. Zhang Chen rubbed his hands and said excitedly. Ding, the golden roulette is opening, as the system sounds. A golden roulette immediately appeared in Zhang Chen's eyes. Soon, the golden roulette wheel appeared. There were 10 items in total on it, and there was only one grand prize, which shone with golden light and was something similar to a pill. The first prize is actually an elixir. Could it be some kind of immortality elixir? Zhang Chen had some expectations and then chose to start the lottery. In an instant, the heavenly wheel rotated. 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps, finally the big wheel stopped, and the pointer landed on something like a needle. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting. The system beep sounded, and for a moment, Zhang Chen was a little surprised. Ding, congratulations to the host for drawing a gold reward, an anti-cancer life-sustaining potion. Item: anti-cancer life-extending potion. Efficacy: it can completely resist cancer, and if the recipient is over 80 years old, it can gain an additional 10 years of life. Explanation: this object cannot be researched beyond the current technological level of 100 years. Anti-cancer agents. If this kind of thing is estimated to be worth 100 years in the future, it will be worth nothing, but it will be nothing if it can be bought with money. Although it's not a big prize, it's not bad. If I smoke all day long, who knows if I'll get that thing? It's a precaution for the future. I won't suffer any loss if I keep it. It may be that the increase in income makes Zhang Chen happy. To be honest, Zhang Chen is in a very happy mood. During the next period of time, we are waiting for the closing of the property. So, in the blink of an eye, the end of the month is here. In 15 days, which is exactly half a month, Zhang Chen also had 160 million in funds on hand, because he still had 10 million before. Zhang Chen plans to use the money to build the company, so he does not plan to spend it. It can be said that maybe because it was the first time he started his own business to make 490, Zhang Chen was very concerned about it. During this period, he didn't go out at all. He only ate and drank at home. However, he might be laughed at if he said it. Zhang Chen only ate some takeout. Occasionally Lee Waning comes and cooks some food. But unfortunately, Lee Waning's cooking skills are rubbish. Focusing on doing business, Zhang Chen felt that he was extremely outstanding and had an indescribable sense of pride. However, at 12 noon on November 30th, when Zhang Chen was planning his future company, suddenly, Lee Waning called. After answering the phone, I soon heard Lee Waning's extremely excited voice. Mr. Zhang. Mr. Zhang. Good news, good news, good news. She was a little incoherent. What's the matter? Tell me slowly. At this moment, Zhang Chen almost knew what happened. Hengyuan Road has issued a new school district housing announcement. Hengyuan Road has been divided into Nancheng No. 10 Middle School. The house you buy will make crazy money. Lee Waning was completely shocked. When she first came to the company, she was still preparing to work, but her superiors came to her and told her that Dongyuan Road had been classified as a room in the Nancheng No. 10 Middle School District. How come they are in the real estate business and don't know what housing in a school district means? In particular, during this period, their company helped Zhang Chen acquire a large number of houses on Hengyuan Road, so he was naturally impressed. As soon as the news came out, Li Qingwan's entire company went into shock. This kind of thing has happened before. I helped a client buy a house, but as a result, I was assigned to a house in a school district and was given a lot of banners. But that time it was only 7 or 8 houses. This time there are more than 400 houses, which are classified as school district houses. Do you want to blow them up? Even the boss of Li Qingwan's boss personally called Li Qingwan and told Li Qingwan that they could help with the sales and offer discounts of up to 50%. After all, houses in school districts are easy to sell, but more than 400 houses in school districts are missing. You have to be able to sell it in one go. It's a big list to find a specialized real estate company. The point is not to make money, but to be an agent for more than 400 houses in the school district. What is the concept? How many rich people want to come and talk to them? What if this discussion process leads to other business? This is simply delicious. Therefore, the superiors told Li Qingwan that as long as the agreement was reached, the salary would be increased directly and the supervisor position would be given to Li Qingwan. However, after Li Qingwan learned the news, her first reaction was shock. The second reaction was surprise. Because Zhang Chen vigorously acquired houses, Li Qingwan gritted her teeth and bought 2 houses when she saw how confident Zhang Chen was. However, she bought them in installments. CCAJ. Anyway, one set was worth 500,000 yuan and the 2 sets were worth 1 million. A total down payment of more than 300,000 yuan, and the remaining money, the monthly payment is 7,000 to 8,000 yuan, which is not a big pressure for her. If Zhang Chen's investment really fails, no matter how hard she buys 2 houses, she won't lose anything. However, now, 2 houses worth 500,000 yuan, if you just calculate it, it can be more than doubled. Li Qingwan calculated that he spent a total of 1.05 million, 145 square meters, and compared it with the housing in other school districts of Nanchang No. 10 Middle School, and then made an approximation based on the actual situation. Net profit per square meter is RMB 16,000. In other words, you can earn more than 2 million. Hiss. More than 2 million, what is this concept? She earns 30,000 yuan a month. Even if she becomes a supervisor with 35,000 yuan plus various commissions and benefits, she will still need to work for 40,000 to 50,000 yuan for 5 or 6 years. This is still a time when real estate transactions are booming. If you encounter bad times, you will have to work for 7 or 8 years, right? Now in just 2 months, I have earned money that may have taken me close to 10 years to earn. In the end, the third reaction was to call Zhang Chen immediately. However, what made Li Qingwan a little embarrassed? Zhang Chen didn't seem surprised at all on the other end of the phone, he just spoke slowly. Wanqing, remember our bet? As soon as he said this, Li Wanqing was stunned. Bet? She has not forgotten this bet. To be honest, she planned to post on WeChat moments in advance 2 days ago, saying that she was going to buy a sports car. Fortunately, he endured it, otherwise, he would have been embarrassed. I will look for you. Li Wanqing spoke, and Zhang Chen thanked her and hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen opened the exclusive webpage of Hengyuan Road Subdistrict Office in Nanchang City, and indeed, an announcement came out. Obviously, many people on Hengyuan Road were going crazy with laughter, but many people were also crying. Especially the customers who made transactions in the past 2 days are probably crying, while the few customers who are still hesitant to sell are probably smiling wisely. But no matter what, Zhang Chen became the biggest winner. There are a total of 450 houses, Zhang Chen has calculated them. The total cost is more than 200 million. The income is about 500 million, and the net profit is not much, only 300 million. Zhang Chen earns from doing nothing for a month. As for Nanchang No. 27 Middle School, if you operate this way, you can probably get a profit of 200 million. The real leader is the foreign language school. Zhang Chen has carefully calculated that the profit is at least 1.5 billion. Although the cycle may be a bit long, making sure profits without losing money is the way to go. That's when Li Wanqing is here. Li Qingwan is here. It came very quickly, even in a hurry, because what happened today shocked her so much. Any drinks? Zhang Chen walked out of the study, opened the door to Li Wanqing, and asked calmly. No, No, Lee Waning shook her hand, then looked at Zhang Chen, her face full of admiration, and said, "Did you already know that Hengyuan Road Club is classified as a school district room?" Her eyes were full of adoration. Zhang Chen did not answer the question, but just said, "This is a business secret. I would like to ask, does the bet that Ms. Lee made with me before count?" Zhang Chen smiled. As soon as she said this, Lee Waning felt a little embarrassed. Just now her boss asked her to come over to discuss business with Zhang Chen. What? Miss Lee is planning to default on the bill. Zhang Chen chuckled. But Lee Waning couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, "How dare I default on my debt with Mr. Zhang? It's just that Mr. Zhang, opening a real estate company is not just for fun. First of all, it requires a strong relationship, and secondly, you need to understand the classification. It is the type of agency. It's still a real estate type, or even a real estate development. There are many, many doors and windows." Lee Waning said this. Zhang Chen nodded. He took out a pack of cigarettes and smoked one. Then he smiled and said, "It's only because I knew there was trouble that I approached Miss Lee. So, I won't say anything more. My monthly salary is 100,000. Add corresponding commissions, and you can help me recruit some talents, and you can adjust the salary. Let's go see the office building now." After saying this, Zhang Chen took out the key to the Hurricane and said this. Are you going to see the office building now? Are you in such a hurry?" Lee Waning was a little surprised. "What's the point? After I choose the office building, I will leave basically everything to you. I don't like doing business very much. What I like more is enjoying life. To be honest, for the Hengyuan Road matter, in the past 2 months, I haven't even taken a step out of my room, can you believe it?" Zhang Chen said this. However, Lee Waning smiled bitterly. "If I don't go there for 2 months, Hengyuan Road's profit this time will be at least around 300 million in 2 months. To be honest, even her company cannot achieve this terrifying profit. If it were her, let alone 2 months, 2 years without going out, Lee Waning would do it if she was given 300 million. If I resign, I need to hand over the work, which will probably take more than a month." Lee Waning said this. "Yeah, sure. There are still 2 months until the number 27 middle school district house, and he is not in a hurry. Besides, the profit of the number 27 middle school will not be very large in comparison, at most 200 million, or even not yet. Let's go see the office building first." Zhang Chen spoke, and then left directly with Lee Waning without giving Lee Waning a chance to rest. When they arrived at the underground garage, a roar sounded, and soon a crimson Ferrari appeared in Zhang Chen's field of vision. This Ferrari was more handsome, and the main driver was a young man with red hair. Zhang Chen glanced at it, and the other person also glanced at Zhang Chen, and then the engine sound became louder. Obviously he was pretending to be X in front of Zhang Chen. "This is a new model of Ferrari, costing more than 7 million. Lee Waning knew the product and directly told the price. 7 million? Zhang Chen was calm, but during this period, he discovered that there were indeed many rich people in Nanchang City. In this underground garage, Zhang Chen saw many soldiers. Bentley, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Rolls-Royce all have them. And I only have a Lamborghini Hurricane, which seems a little ordinary. If the Lamborghini Hurricane were in other underground parking lots, it would definitely be the number 1 car, but in this neighborhood, it is considered a luxury car, but it is definitely not the number 1 car." Touching his chin, Zhang Chen felt that he needed to change cars again. "You drive." Zhang Chen threw the car keys to Lee Waning. He didn't want to drive, but Lee Waning was a little surprised. She could drive, but she had never driven a sports car. "Aren't you afraid of my female driver?" Lee Waning smiled. "You drive an SUV, why are you worried that your driving skills are not good?" Zhang Chen chuckled lightly. He had seen Lee Waning drive an Audi Q5. This kind of SUV is usually driven by men. If a woman drives this kind of car, there is absolutely no problem with her driving skills. At the moment, Lee Waning was driving a Lamborghini Hurricane, with Zhang Chen sitting in the passenger seat. At the same time, she opened her Prestige and contacted Zhang Zhang. "Wenwen, are you there?" Zhang Chen sent a message. "Soon," Zhang Wenwen replied in less than 10 seconds. "Brother Zhang, what's wrong?" Zhang Wenwen was a little curious. "Oh, it's nothing. I'm just asking, do you have any good cars in the store now? It's better than my car." Zhang Chen sent the message, and Zhang Wenwen immediately sent the text. "Please give me flowers. Yes, after selling the Hurricane, we applied for a few more good cars, including a Daniel, which costs more than 7 million. What's wrong? Zhang Wenwen asked. $7 million bull? Zhang Chen frowned. To be honest, his current income of 7 million is really meaningless. Since he wants to change his car, he should simply change to a better one. Is there any other car? One with a higher price? Zhang Chen asked. Our store doesn't have a good car. No matter how good it is, you can only go to Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou. But brother Zhang, don't tell me, do you want to buy a car again? Zhang Wenwen asked. Yes, my car is not attractive enough and I want to change it to a better one. Zhang Chen spoke directly. His car is indeed not attractive enough. This may have something to do with where he lives. If he stays in the wealthy area of Nanchang City, he will find his shortcomings. Actually, there is, but it's not in our store. There is a super luxury car show tomorrow. It is said that there are sports cars worth tens of millions. I can get the tickets here. Brother Zhang, do you want to go and see it? A sports car worth tens of millions? This is a bit interesting. Okay, what time will we meet tomorrow? Zhang Chen asked. Let's see what you think, brother Zhang. Zhang Wenwen naturally followed Zhang Chen's wishes. Then let's go to 10 o'clock, not too late or too early, I'm afraid I won't be able to get up. Zhang Chen said. Okay, will I contact you tomorrow? Well, just give me the address and meet at the door then. Zhang Chen sent a message. Zhang Wenwen immediately responded with an okay gesture. Then Zhang Chen also turned off his mobile phone. Chat with a beautiful woman. Lee Waning, who was driving, couldn't help but ask. No, I am a female classmate who sells in a 4S store. I plan to buy a new car. Zhang Chen said. When she heard this, Lee Waning was speechless. It seems you haven't had this car for a long time, right? Are you going to trade it for a new car? Yeah, don't you think my car is not impressive enough anymore? It feels very ordinary when I drive it out. I want to buy the kind of car that attracts everyone's attention when I drive it out. Zhang Chen did not hide his inner thoughts at all. But Lee Waning could only say that it is great to have money. Just like that, half an hour later, Lee Waning drove the Hurricane to the most prosperous financial center in Nanchang City. Victory Square. After parking the car, Lee Waning accompanied Zhang Chen and looked for suitable houses in Victory Plaza. Victory Square is the commercial center of Nanchang City, and the rents of the most marginal office buildings are 70 per square meter. The rents for these centrally located office buildings are higher, with the minimum starting at 111 square meters. Lee Waning pointed to several buildings and introduced them to Zhang Chen one by one. As a manager of a real estate company, Lee Waning is naturally very familiar with the housing prices of Victory Plaza, the most prosperous area. I think this building is good. Zhang Chen looked around, and finally his eyes stopped on a building with a green space building. This building is the tallest building in Victory Center. Standing on the top floor, you can have a panoramic view of the entire Nanchang City. There is a great momentum that will reach the top and give you a panoramic view of all the small mountains. It was precisely because of this that Zhang Chen fell in love with Greenland Building at first glance. And the Greenland Building is also in the center of the center. Being high and above is the dream of every man. 973. I'll go find the person in charge right now. Lee Waning walked into the Greenland Building and went directly to the front desk to contact the person in charge of Victory Plaza. Not long after, a fat man in a suit ran over panting. Hello, sir, I am Li Shozong, the person in charge of Shengli officialdom. Li Shozong instantly became respectful after seeing Zhang Chen's clothes. In fact, he knew Lee Waning and the Lamborghini car key in Lee Waning's hand. In addition, Zhang Chen is covered in famous brands, and even the cheapest belt is estimated to cost 10,000 yuan less. How can he be disrespectful? Even if such a person is unable to cooperate, he cannot be offended easily and must be served well. This is our President Zhang, and I am Lee Waning, President Yang's assistant. Lee Waning introduced their identities in a smooth and generous manner, and then explained the purpose of their visit. Zhang Zhu is here to rent the top floor of the Greenland Building. Mr. Zhang, you are really discerning. This Greenland Building is the king of buildings in Victory Center. It's just that the top floor cannot be rented out. Li Shozong said with some embarrassment. What, is it possible that someone rented it? Zhang Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. If someone rented it, Zhang Chen wouldn't mind spending a lot of money to sublet it from the other party. Mr. Zhang, to be honest, the developer originally planned to develop the top floor of the Greenland building into a commercial reception venue, but later it was not renovated due to lack of funds, so the top floor is still a rough house without putty on the wall, and cannot be rented to you. Li Shozong explained quickly. It doesn't matter, I can decorate it myself, Zhang Chen said disapprovingly. Mr. Zhang, the top floor of the Greenland building is 3,000 square meters, and the decoration alone may cost 2 to 3 million. Li Shozong looked a little embarrassed. You must know that this decoration is a one-time thing. When the lease of the house expires, the millions will be wasted. It is precisely because the decoration cost is too high that the top floor of Greenland building has not been rented out. Zhang Chen did not answer Li Shozong's shock, but leaned lazily on the sofa and twirled his fingers. Lee Waning on the side immediately took out a pack of Washa Red from her bag, took out one and lit it for Zhang Chen. This scene was seen by Li Shozong, who was filled with envy and took down the "No Smoking" sign placed on the table. It feels so good to be rich. You don't even have to do it yourself to smoke. Just open your mouth and a beautiful woman will light it. Manager Li, how much is the rent for the top floor? Zhang Chen asked calmly after lighting his cigarette. 201 square meters. The top floor has a total of 3,000 square meters, and the monthly rent is 600,000, Li Shozong replied. Then go take a look at the top floor, Zhang Chen said, stood up and walked to the elevator. Unexpectedly, he was stopped by Li Shozong. Mr. Zhang, there is a separate elevator on the first floor, please come this way. Zhang Chen burst out laughing when he heard this. As expected, the ability can be used anywhere, even the elevator has its own independent one. Accompanied by Li Shozong, Zhang Chen and Lee Waning walked into the sightseeing elevator. There were only 2 buttons in the elevator, one for the first floor and the other for the 16th floor. Since the top floor of the Greenland building has not yet been renovated, the entire floor is empty except for a few load-bearing walls. Zhang Chen walked straight to the floor-to-ceiling window and took in the entire scenery of Nanchang City. He couldn't help but be filled with emotion. Once upon a time, he was just a salesman for a small company and didn't even have the right to set foot in the Greenland building. But now, the entire Nanchang City is at his feet, suddenly like a dream. Mr. Zhang, you have such a good sense. Lee Waning stood next to Zhang Chen. It was only then that she understood why Zhang Chen wanted to rent the top floor. If Nanchang City is compared to a person, then the top floor of the Greentown building is the crown on the person's head, high and extremely noble. Mr. Zhang, what style do you want to decorate in? Lee Waning looked at the huge top floor curiously and asked Zhang Chen for his opinion. Decoration style. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and said, go to the executive presidential suite of Binhu Hotel and have a look and decorate it according to that style. Mr. Zhang, are you sure you want to decorate the company in the style of a presidential suite? Lee Waning asked in disbelief. She had heard about the executive presidential suite at the Binhu Hotel, especially the high room rate of 15,081 nights. If it were decorated in that style, wouldn't company employees work in the presidential suite every day? The main hall must be designed according to a tall office. What I want is a large space, not a group of people crowded together, 4 presidential suites, a small swimming pool, a game room, and an SP pavilion. I want to work and entertain. Integration creates a different office. Zhang Chen said with a smile, the focus is on the presidential suite. After saying this, Lee Waning couldn't help but smile bitterly. This kind of boss is really willful. Li Shozong smiled and said, is Mr. Zhang satisfied? Okay. Let's prepare the contract and sign it for 3 years first, Zhang Chen said very casually. 3 years. Li Shozong thought Zhang Chen would say it was not bad and continue the conversation. What she didn't expect was that Zhang Chen directly said that the contract would be signed for 3 years, which made her look dull. The monthly rent is 600,000 yuan, and the 3-year rent is more than 20 million yuan. Why, you can't sign for 3 years, Zhang Chen asked. Mr. Zhang, please wait a moment. The amount involved in this contract is too large. I need to ask the higher-ups for instructions first. Li Shozong replied. Li Shozong is just the person in charge of Victory Plaza. He usually handles some property issues, but he has no right to sign a 20 million contract on behalf of Victory Plaza. Go. Zhang Chen waved his hand and said. After receiving Zhang Chen's permission, Li Shozong stepped aside, took out his cell phone and made a call, reporting the situation in a low voice. After waiting for 3 minutes, Li Shozong hung up the phone and returned to Zhang Chen. Mr. Zhang, I have just asked for instructions from above. Since you are decorating alone, we will give you some discounts. We will waive your monthly property fees and only charge 6.6 million in annual rent. At the same time, we will leave an additional renewal right for you. That is to say, if you want to continue renting in the future, we will give you priority in the same rough housing price. Li Shozong's attitude towards Zhang Chen became more and more respectful. There were only a few people in Nanchang City who could easily spend 20 million. However, Li Waning immediately shook her head and said, "This won't work. We signed a 10-year contract, but we will pay for 3 years first. After 3 years, if we are willing to continue renting, your company can only increase the rent according to the annual increase, but absolutely not it is allowed to increase the price or rent it to others. If this happens, business compensation will be required." Li Waning was not a fool, so she spoke directly to help Zhang Chen save money. Zhang Chen didn't speak, just smiled. Since Li Waning helped him save money, why not? Li Shozong thought for a while and then immediately called his superiors. Finally, Li Shozong nodded and said, "The superiors agreed. I will modify the contract now." "Okay, I'll transfer the money after signing the contract documents." Zhang Chen said this. Soon Li Shozong also prepared 2 contracts. After signing and stamping, the right to lease the top floor of the Greenland building was in Zhang Chen's hands, and Zhang Chen also paid the rent. Before entering the auto show venue, Zhang Chen also noticed something. There were many luxury cars such as Porsche, Lamborghini, and Bentley with brands parked in the parking lot. As for high-end cars such as BBA Land Rover, they can only pull over at this time. If they encounter these luxury cars, it may not be enough to compensate them even if they get in. And Zhang Chen's Lamborghini Hurricane worth more than 5 million yuan is as inconspicuous as a drop of water sinking into the sea among all these luxury cars. Because of this, Zhang Chen became more and more determined in his heart that he must change to a truly luxury car. Now that the system is in place, Zhang Chen no longer has to worry about money. If you don't enjoy it in this situation, it will be unjustifiable both emotionally and rationally. After Zhang Wenwen showed her tickets to the security guard at the entrance of the exhibition, the two successfully entered the auto show venue. When you walk into the auto show venue, you will see a sea of luxury cars. There are even a few McLarens that are rarely seen. As for entry-level sports cars like Panamera and Maserati, there are even more entry-level sports cars, with various styles. Everything you need. The most eye-catching thing is the car models next to these luxury cars. It seems that the organizer must have spent a lot of money this time, and the car models invited are all professional. In addition to her bright appearance, every action she takes can arouse a man's little flame. Just inadvertently, Zhang Chen noticed that several photographers were posing to take pictures of luxury cars, but they focused the camera on those long legs and big waves. Both are mounts, but for ordinary people, car models are more practical than luxury cars. This Ferrari 488 has a guide price of 3.15 million yuan, but its collection value is lower than the discontinued 458 next to it. The one here is the Ferrari 812, which is new this year. The guide price is 4.98 million yuan. Zhang Wenwen accompanied Zhang Chen around the auto show venue, introducing all the models to Zhang Chen one by one. As a professional high-end brand car salesperson, Zhang Wenwen not only has a good understanding of the prices of these luxury cars, but also has some experience in performance. However, Zhang Wenwen saw that Zhang Chen didn't show much interest in these luxury cars, so she didn't give a detailed introduction. Just as Zhang Wenwen expected, Zhang Chen had no interest in these luxury cars at all, and shook his head slightly every time he learned the price. The parking lot outside was parked with the same models of these luxury cars. What Zhang Chen needed was a limited edition luxury car. At least in Nanchang City, he couldn't compete with others. Just when Zhang Chen looked around and couldn't find a sports car he liked, with a look of disappointment on his face, he saw a crowd of people gathered in the center of the auto show venue. "Go and see what's going on over there." Zhang Chen led Zhang Wenwen through the crowd and saw a burgundy supercar parked quietly in the open space in the middle. It was parked so quietly, but its burgundy coat made the people around it very excited. "Rafa." After seeing this supercar, Zhang Chen couldn't help but blurt out. Every man has a supercar dream, and Zhang Chen cannot escape it. When Zhang Chen was working, he had read many sports car magazines, and the one that impressed him the most was this Ferrari, La Ferrari. Once upon a time, Zhang Chen thought that he would have the opportunity to control this dream in every man's heart. Now, this dream is right in front of you. The most important thing is that I can afford it now. Brother, this Lafa is one of the highlights of this auto show. As far as I know, there are about 15 Lafas in the country, and Nanchang City is the first Lafa to appear. I heard that the owner of this Rafa is a big shot in the Kyoto Supercar Club. Due to his family's financial difficulties, he chose to sell the Rafa for cash. Oh, if my company were to go public, I could buy this car. It's a pity that such a good opportunity is missing. People around them commented that, judging by the tone of their voices, they must all be second-generation people who are either rich or noble. Zhang Chen looked at the Lafa and then wanted to walk inside. However, soon, staff came out to stop him. Sir, this car is very valuable, so it must be verified before you can test drive it. Please cooperate. The staff on the side quickly came forward and said apologetically. In the entire auto show center, all supercars can be tested, but not this Lafa. The price of this car is 32 million, and any scratch will cost more than hundreds of thousands to repair. If something goes wrong, the worker may not be able to repay it even if he works in vain for a lifetime. How much does this car cost? Zhang Chen turned around and asked. This car is a Ferrari, La Ferrari, and the owner has priced it at 32 million, so as long as you have 20 million for verification, you can test drive it. The staff member said in a neither humble nor condescending manner. Capital verification is to check whether there is that much money in the card. Whether you buy it or not, if you have that much money, you can go in and give it a try. Okay. Let's verify the capital, Zhang Chen said calmly, and directly took out his bank card and gave it to the other party. At this moment, many people couldn't help but look at Zhang Chen. The capital verification costs 20 million. There are many rich second generations here who are watching, but they don't dare to go for a test drive. It's not that they don't have 20 million in their cards. They just won't buy it if they have money. Buying a car for 20 to 30 million yuan? Even if they are the second generation of rich people, they would not dare to do this. It would be strange if their family members did not curse them to death. For Zhang Chen, 32 million is nothing more than 4 days' profit, so he doesn't care at all. Soon the staff verified the capital. Zhang Wenwen on the side felt the attention of everyone and couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with vanity, but she didn't say anything. Could it be fake? Are you showing off? 20 million capital verification? So young? So handsome? Could it be that he is a duck? Probably another pretender. The crowd was talking a lot, and at this moment, the staff completed the capital verification, and the person in charge of the auto show came over in person, respectfully treated Zhang Chen, and invited Zhang Chen and Zhang Wenwen to come in with smiles on their faces. There was quite an uproar in the whole place. Is this really crazy? Everyone was shocked and looked at Zhang Chen, who walked in with envy, especially the rich second generation. The envy in their eyes could not be concealed. After Zhang Chen walked in, he directly started to test the Lotus. The curves of the Lafa are perfect, and the central control is also very technological, especially the shape. It is simply a supercar among supercars. Known as one of the 3 sacred cars. Rafa, McLaren P1, and Porsche 918, these 3 cars are known as magic cars. Okay. Just buy this one. Zhang Chen walked out of the car. Before the person in charge could introduce him, Zhang Chen spoke calmly. The sound rang out, and the onlookers were stunned for a moment. Hundreds of people were stunned. Sir, you said you bought this car? The person in charge asked in disbelief. If Zhang Chen really buys this car, he can get at least 300,000 yuan in commission. For a moment, the other party even had the illusion of being hit by a gold ingot. As for the rich second generation who were watching around, they were already in a frenzy and were speculating on Zhang Chen's identity. People who can spend 32 million to buy a car will increase their wealth at least 10 times. There are only a few people in Nane City with assets of over 100 million, and Zhang Chen is not among them. Brother, Nuo Liao Zhao. That's 32 million, not 3.2 million. Oh my god, when I spent 4.5 million to buy 458, my dad gave me a beating. He spent 30 million and didn't even frown. It's really infuriating. The reporters who were originally scattered in various corners of the auto show taking pictures of car models caught wind of the situation and came here. focusing their cameras on Zhang Chen and pressing the shutter button. The first Lafa will be settled in Nanchang City, which is big news. For a time, Zhang Chen became the protagonist of the auto show, surrounded by lights, extremely eye-catching. Zhang Wenwen was also confused at this time. After being stunned for a long time to react, she quickly walked to Zhang Chen and reminded her in a very cryptic low voice. "Brother Zhang, this is the most precious model of Ferrari. Are you sure you want to buy it? 3/10 millions?" Zhang Wenwen reminded. Most of the time, buying a sports car is an impulse purchase. She was afraid that Zhang Chen was just impulsive. "So I couldn't help but remind you." However, Zhang Chen nodded, handed the bank card to the person in charge and said, "Swipe the card." A simple swipe. The auto show center completely exploded. "Mr. Zhang, please be busy first and add me as a friend. If anything happens later, just let me know with your authority." In order not to be a light bulb, Li Shozong added Zhang Chen's prestige and left with an excuse, leaving space for Zhang Chen and Li Wanqing. After Li Shozong left, Li Wanqing accompanied Zhang Chen for a walk around the top floor. "Mr. Zhang, are you sure you want to build a presidential suite here?" Before leaving, Li Wanqing confirmed it again. Although construction has not started yet, Li Wanqing has already predicted that once Zhang Chen spreads the word about the office environment, the number of applicants will probably be high. Working in the presidential suite can be said to be the dream of all office workers. No matter how much the salary is, you still have face if you tell the truth. After all, I am the one who lives in the presidential suite every day. Yes, making money by running a company is just a process. Happiness is the ultimate pursuit, Zhang Chen replied. When Zhang Chen obtained the system, he had already begun to learn how to enjoy life. The life of a rich man is so boring, you must find some fun. Even if Li Wanqing had objections, she could only decorate the company according to 22 Zhang Chen's ideas. After all, Zhang Chen was the boss. Well, anyway, it's Zhang Chen's money that's being compensated. Li Wanqing was balancing herself in her heart. We have everything to eat, drink and play, so I will design it like this first, and then make modifications when I have ideas. Zhang Chen said. Mr. Zhang, once the decoration is finalized, it is difficult to make major changes later. Li Wanqing reminded. It doesn't matter. At worst, we can wrap up the downstairs floor. Zhang Chen waved his hand nonchalantly and said, "Money is so willful." After planning the office space, Zhang Chen briefly explained the company's plans to Li Wanqing. The name of the company is Tiancheng Real Estate, and you will be fully responsible for the rest. Li Wanqing didn't have the slightest objection to Zhang Chen's method of letting go and delegating power, and directly nodded in agreement. Rich people always talk but don't do anything, insisting that they can be worthy of $1 million annual salary. Although the company's affairs are fully handled by Li Wanqing, there are still some places where Zhang Chen needs to come forward in person. Even with money to pave the way, it took a full day to get the company registered. After handling everything, Zhang Chen and Li Wanqing returned home. In order to celebrate the establishment of Tiancheng Real Estate Company, Zhang Chen directly called Wang Yi Tower, the only 5-star hotel in Nanchang City, to place an order. After receiving the call, the customer service staff at Wang Yi refused bluntly and sternly, claiming that this was a 5-star hotel and had no takeout business. Zhang Chen didn't want to listen to the customer service's explanation and said directly, "The delivery fee is 10,000. The hotel customer service staff said at that time that they would personally deliver meals to Zhang Chen. In a society where money is paramount, raising money is more useful than anything else. For Zhang Chen, money is just a series of numbers that can change. 10,000 yuan is just a matter of opening and closing his eyes. Enjoying life is what Zhang Chen needs." When the hotel customer service delivered the food, Zhang Chen opened another bottle of red wine and exchanged glasses with Li Wanqing. After a while, the bottle of red wine was empty. At the end of the drink, Zhang Chen fell asleep drunkenly. The only sober thought was whether there would be a chance for Li Wanqing to see a bitch tonight. Just like that, in the blink of an eye, the next morning, the phone rang, waking Zhang Chen from his sweet dream. "Brother Zhang, the auto show is about to start. When will you arrive?" Zhang Wenwen's sweet voice came from the mobile phone. "Well, it's very refreshing." Zhang Chen looked at the time on his phone, which was just past 10 o'clock, and said, "About half an hour." "Why?" After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen discovered a breakfast and notes on the table. The note was left by Lee Waning, telling Zhang Chen not to forget to have breakfast. After breakfast, Zhang Chen put on a set of more comfortable clothes and drove to the Nanchang Honggu Exhibition Center, the auto show venue. 20 minutes later, the white Hurricane sports car slowly stopped at the entrance of the auto show. Zhang Chen saw Zhang Wenwen waiting at the door at a glance. Today, Zhang Wenwen wore a tight black tube top on her upper body and a black leather hip-hugging skirt on her lower body, paired with the alluring black lace, which fully highlighted her sexy and charming figure. Long legs, big waves, ouch, that's beautiful. Zhang Wenwen's appearance is only rated 8 points, but after dressing up like this, she can at least improve 1 point. Even the car models passing by felt a little ashamed and walked around after seeing Zhang Wenwen. The reporters who originally planned to take pictures of the car model were instantly shocked when they saw Zhang Wenwen. At this time, they stopped at the door and kept taking pictures with their cameras. The moment Zhang Wenwen saw the Hurricane sports car, she quickly waved her hands high and shouted, "Brother Zhang, I'm here." In an instant, all the eyes of everyone present looked in the direction of Zhang Wenwen's waving hand, wanting to see what kind of person he was who deserved to have such a beautiful woman as his companion. "Hey guys, Lamborghini Huracan. No, $5 million is enough." Most of the people who come to the auto show are car connoisseurs, and they can see the value of the Lamborghini Huracan at a glance. When these people saw this sports car, their doubts disappeared instantly. In the face of Qian's ability, it is impossible not to accept it. TCH, it turned out to be a mistress. The owner of the car may not know what kind of old man he is. In the crowd, someone sourly underestimated. After Zhang Chen found a parking space and parked his car, he opened the door and got out of the car. When everyone saw Zhang Chen's 670 appearance and snow-like skin that was the envy of all women, they instantly went crazy. "I'm Sao. God is unfair. He gave him good looks and gave him money. No, I have a best friend who is about to die, and I want his prestige before she dies." As for the person who just secretly mocked Zhang Wenwen for being a mistress, she even fled from the crowd with a blushing face. Such a handsome person, let alone women, even men like him. When Zhang Wenwen saw Zhang Chen for the first time, her first reaction was that she had recognized the wrong person. After not seeing each other for just a few days, Zhang Chen seemed to be a completely different person, with a handsome face and smooth skin. "Wenwen, you're tired." Zhang Chen walked up to Zhang Wenwen and said hello. "Brother Zhang is serious." Zhang Wenwen pinched herself hard to wake herself up from her infatuation, and said quickly, "The auto show has started for a while, let's go in first." "Let's go," Zhang Chen said. Zhang Wenwen looked around at the female car models with green eyes like wolves who had seen flesh, and naturally reached out to hold Zhang Chen's arm. A group of coquettish bitches dared to take advantage of brother Zhang. Regardless of Zhang Chen's appearance or assets, it is difficult for these soldiers to match him. The handsome man and the beautiful woman, Zhang Chen and Zhang Wenwen walked hand in hand, instantly attracting the cameras of all reporters. All eyes are on you. The person in charge of the auto show directly took the POS machine over, inserted the bank card, presented his hands in front of Zhang Chen, bowed and said respectfully, "Sir, please enter your password." The people around him held their breath involuntarily and stared at Zhang Chen. Whether Zhang Chen is really awesome or just pretending to be awesome depends on whether this bank card can withdraw money. Didi, beep, beep. Under the spotlight, Zhang Chen entered the 6-digit password on the POS machine with a calm expression. Then, a long UnionPay receipt paper was typed out. "I am Sao, 32 million were actually generated." Even if the second-generation rich people around them were mentally prepared, they looked shocked at this moment and looked at Zhang Chen with envy as he signed his name on the receipt. As for the car models at the auto show venue, they also gathered around and looked at Zhang Chen with stars in their eyes. "This man is so handsome. Especially when you swipe your card to sign, it's so cool." At this time, compared with the shocked and excited crowd around him, Zhang Chen, who looked calm, seemed like an outsider watching the excitement. Taking advantage of the surrounding reporters, the person in charge of the auto show venue quickly greeted the surrounding car models. Hurry up and get over to 880. Find some staff to move the flower baskets at the entrance of the venue." After a while, more than a dozen car models gathered around Zhang Chen holding flower baskets. "Mr. Zhang, due to the rush of time, the car delivery ceremony was a little simple. Please don't take it off. The person in charge of the auto show rubbed his hands and apologized to Zhang Chen apologetically. It's okay. I'm just buying a car. There's no need to be so grand. Zhang Chen waved his hand and said disapprovingly. Zhang Chen's actions instantly aroused the envy of those around him. What does it mean to be rich? What does it mean to be inhumane? Zhang Chen answered these two questions perfectly. Spending 32 million to buy a car is like buying a cabbage on the street, and he never frowned at all. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Zhang. The person in charge of the auto show handed the car keys to Zhang Chen with both hands, then cleared his throat and said loudly. Congratulations to Mr. Zhang on the Ferrari Lafa. In an instant, the entire venue burst into applause and flashlights kept flashing. When these rich second generations saw Zhang Chen's financial resources, they all gathered around and took out their mobile phones to increase Zhang Chen's prestige. Looking at the entire Nanchang city, people who can easily spend 32 million to buy a car can only have one hand. These rich second generation CCAI are not fools, so naturally they will not miss this opportunity to make friends. Zhang Chen did not reject these people's requests. He took out his mobile phone and added friends. After all, multiple friends have multiple paths. What's more, the elders of these people are somewhat powerful in Nanchang City, and they may need these people in their own affairs in the future. Crack. Zhang Wenwen, who was squeezed out of the crowd, raised her phone high, took a photo of the Lafa, and sent it to her classmates. Ferrari Lafa, priced at 32 million. Lee Ziming. Wenwen, you went to the Hengdu Auto Show. Why didn't you tell me? Let's go together. Zhang Fan. Is this Lafa one of the 3 legendary cars? He Gong. It's a pity that I'm out of town, otherwise I really want to see this magical car with my own eyes today. Yang Xiaomei. Normally you are too lazy to talk, but when Wenwen sent out the message, you all came out, focusing on sex over friends. After Zhang Wenwen sent out the news, the originally deserted group of classmates instantly became angry. After Zhang Wenwen saw the news, she replied, I came with brother Zhang today. Zhang Fan. Wenwen, isn't brother Zhang quite rich? Why don't you buy this car? Lee Ziming. At Zhang Fan, didn't you hear Wenwen say that this car sells for 32 million, and Zhang Chen's Hurricane is not even worth a wheel? Ever since they were slapped in the face by Zhang Chen at the class reunion last time, Zhang Fan and Lee Ziming, although they openly respected Zhang Chen, were jealous and resentful in their hearts. Especially when they saw the goddess in their hearts calling each other brother Zhang, the two of them instantly turned into lemon essence, and the messages they sent were extremely sour. Every word you say to me is extremely sarcastic. Looking at the information in the chat group, Zhang Wenwen couldn't help frowning, then raised her phone, took a photo of Zhang Chen who was undergoing the car delivery ceremony, and sent it to the group. At He Gong, it's not easy for you to see the magic car. Once brother Zhang completes the handover ceremony, you can drive it for a few days without any problem. 66,666. Brother Zhang is awesome. Brother Sao, Zhang, hit it well enough and bought a Lafa without any notice. Brother Zhang, take me to fly. As soon as the news about Zhang Wenwen came out, the group of classmates was silent at first, and then instantly became more lively. As for Lee Ziming and Zhang Fan who had previously mocked Zhang Chen, the car has disappeared. After seeing all the compliments among her classmates, Zhang Wenwen put away her phone with satisfaction and came to Zhang Chen's side. Mr. Zhang, we also have a limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom that is the finale of the show. There are only 25 units in the world. I wonder if you are interested in taking a look. After completing the delivery ceremony, the person in charge of the auto show did not leave. According to the exhibition plan, the finale model will be displayed on the second day when there are the most people. However, after seeing Zhang Chen's terrifying financial resources, the person in charge of the auto show decided to display the final model one day in advance. If Zhang Chen buys it on a whim, he can earn a lot of commission in vain. Of course, this is just an idea. There are people who buy one car and then another. Take me to see it. Zhang Chen became interested immediately after learning that there were only 25 final models. The Rafa is a supercar. A sports car is a sports car and is only suitable for occasional driving. If you really want comfort, a sedan is the way to go. Among cars, the most awesome one is naturally Rolls-Royce. Every successful person has a Rolls-Royce. There is a saying that anyone who drives a Rolls-Royce is a father who drives a supercar. Although this sentence is a bit exaggerated, it is true. But the limited edition Rolls-Royce is different. There are only 25 units in the world. They will never be produced in the future, and you can't even buy one if you want. After listening to the introduction from the person in charge of the auto show, Zhang Chen really had an idea to buy a more comfortable car. "Mr. Zhang, please come over here." The person in charge couldn't help but be overjoyed when he saw Zhang Chen showing interest. He didn't think Zhang Chen would buy it, but Zhang Chen also had friends, or Zhang Chen's father might like it. So he quickly took Zhang Chen to the booth in the center of the venue. On the booth, a car was covered with car cloth. "Mr. Zhang, this is the Rolls-Royce Phantom Limited Edition model I'm telling you about, Tranquility." As the person in charge of the auto show carefully opened the car, a white Rolls-Royce came into Zhang Chen's field of vision. Tranquility, just like its name, is quiet and elegant. And many people continued to gather around. First of all, this Rolls-Royce is one of the highlights. Secondly, Zhang Chen bought a Lafa and became the focus of everyone's attention. Naturally, it attracted everyone to watch. However, this Rolls-Royce did bring visual surprise to Zhang Chen. But then, Zhang Chen saw something even more amazing than this car. A woman. To be precise, it is the top model car next to this body. This top car model is called Chen Yin'er. She is the most famous school beauty of Nanchang Art College and was rated by netizens as one of the top 3 school beauties in Jiangnan province. And Chen Yin'er's appearance is also worthy of this title, with a melon face, willow eyebrows, and delicate facial features that look particularly beautiful against the golden hair. The very conservative plain pleated dress with only exposed shoulders is like the finishing touch, perfectly bringing out Chen Yin'er's pure temperament, like a deity descending into the mortal world, pure and holy. In the face of this pure temperament, those car models who relied on selling meat to attract attention instantly lost their color and turned into a bunch of chickens. Chen Yin'er is the noble crane standing tall among the chickens. When Zhang Chen swiped his card to buy Lafa, Chen Yin'er noticed Zhang Chen's presence. Chen Yin'er was born in an ordinary family. Because of her good looks, she was admitted to Nanchang Art Institute. After studying for 4 years, she was about to graduate and enter the entertainment industry. Chen Yin'er has no family background, no money, and it is difficult to protect herself in the materialistic entertainment industry. The only way out is to find a behind-the-scenes financial backer. Chen Yin'er's classmates embraced her within less than a year of entering school, and in exchange they received continuous film appointments. There were even several pretty female students who secretly became the mistresses of the bad old man, and ended up becoming starlets the next year. Chen Yin'er is not a fool, and she also understands that it is difficult to get ahead in the entertainment industry with her family background. If you want to make a successful debut, there is only one shortcut. However, the beautiful Chen Yin'er has extremely arrogant eyes. How can such a noble body be tainted by those rotten old men with too stinky money and a big belly? If you want to look for it, you should also look for those rich second generations who are young and wealthy. It was with this idea in mind that Chen Yin came to the Hengdu Auto Show to work as a car model. When the person in charge of the auto show saw Chen Yin'er, he was instantly shocked and arranged for her to be the most valuable Rolls-Royce car model. When Chen Yin'er saw Zhang Chen swiping his credit card to buy a Lafa worth 32 million while chatting and laughing, he had a goal in mind. Regardless of appearance or financial resources, Zhang Chen crushed all the second-generation rich people at the auto show with a crushing attitude. "Only this kind of man can be worthy of me, Chen Yin'er." Chen Yin'er deliberately wanted to leave a good impression in Zhang Chen's mind. Putting his palms together and clasping them on his lower abdomen, he walked slowly and gracefully in front of Zhang Chen, showing off his ladylike air. "Sir, this Rolls-Royce is the Phantom Special Model Tranquility. There are only 25 of them in the world. Except for the side-by-side doors, the square front, and the waterfall grille, they are designed according to the Rolls-Royce family style. All parts are made to the level of works of art. The most obvious design change is that the front of the car adopts a gray and white color scheme, and the Goddess of Ecstasy is also made of a unique titanium alloy material." Chen Yin'er introduced the appearance of Rolls-Royce one by one in a leisurely and unhurried manner. Her voice was like a warbler singing in the empty valley, ethereal, sweet and intoxicating. "Oh my God, there is such a beautiful car model at the exhibition. Why didn't I see it just now? Isn't it? I just don't have a big wallet. Otherwise, I would have to buy this car just for the sake of this car model. Beauty, please increase your prestige. I will come to you when I buy a car from now on. The people who spoke were all the rich second generations who were watching around. It was enough to make these well-informed rich second generations fall under their pomegranate skirts, which was enough to show how outstanding Chen Yiner's appearance was. As for the reporters watching around, they couldn't think of talking at this time and kept taking pictures with their cameras. A luxury car is a rare luxury car, and a beauty is also a beauty that can only be found among thousands. If the two match together, any photo taken will be art. One of the Raos had to choose. Zhang Chen took a quick look and nodded with interest. While looking at the car body, Zhang Chen also cast his workplace eye on Chen Yiner. Character: Chen Yiner. Gender: female, virgin. Suitable occupation: actor. Career potential: 4.5 stars, 5 stars is full star. Evaluation: he has extremely solid acting skills, but lacks opportunities to stand out, so he can be recruited as an employee. 4.5 stars. Even though she was proficient in real estate knowledge and had a monthly salary of 30,000 yuan in her original company, real estate tycoon Lee Waning was only rated 4 stars by the system. However, Chen Yiner was actually rated 4.5 stars, which is enough to prove that it is a potential stock that lacks Bull's awareness. Since you've met me, then come and be my horse, Zhang Chen thought secretly in his heart. Asking for flowers 0. Chen Yiner, hurry up and take Mr. Zhang into the car to experience it. At this time, the person in charge of the auto show saw that this car suited Zhang Chen's liking and couldn't help but urge Chen Yiner. Mr. Zhang, please come in. Chen Yiner opened the car door for Zhang Chen, and then put her hand on the doorframe to prevent Zhang Chen from hitting his head. Seeing a beautiful woman serving her so attentively, the wealthy second-generation people around her could only stare. Envy? Want it? Let's take a look at the wallet first. This was obtained in exchange for 32 million? Zhang Chen got into the car, and Chen Yiner closed the door gently, then walked around and got in the car from the other side. Looking up at the starry sky lamp above my head, I felt the soft feeling like sitting in a ball of cotton, and smelled the faint virgin body fragrance coming from Chen Yiner. Zhang Chen couldn't help but close his eyes slightly and took a deep breath of contentment. In the life of a rich man, even breathing is sweet. Seeing Zhang Chen take a deep breath, Chen Yiner blushed and forced herself to calmly introduce Zhang Chen. Mr. Zhang, the design concept of this car is to pay tribute to space exploration, so the interior has always reflected this meaning. The co-pilot and center console panels are all made of 24K gold and aerospace materials, and their shapes are also inspired by X-ray maps of space exploration. In addition, the volume buttons are also polished from meteorites that crashed into the Earth in 1906. As for the golden speakers, they are a tribute to the golden storage disks carried by NASA Voyager that recorded Earth data. Of course, the comfort that Rolls-Royce has always focused on can also be reflected in this car. What is different is that the rear seats of this special edition can also be folded flat. With such a large space, Mr. Zhang wants to anything goes. After listening to Chen Yiner's words, Zhang Chen couldn't help but look at Chen Yiner's bumpy body and drove the car. Can you really do anything? How could Chen Yiner not understand what Zhang Chen meant? With a smile on her face, she didn't answer, but nodded silently. Seeing Chen Yiner's performance, Zhang Chen felt very comfortable. He touched the leather-wrapped seat and got out of the car. Mr. Zhang, how do you feel? The person in charge of the auto show quickly stepped forward and asked. Zhang Chen looked at Chen Yiner, who had just gotten out of the car, and said calmly, "Shutanli." How much does this car cost? Zhang Chen asked. Mr. Zhang, the official guide price of this car is 27 million. Since it is a limited edition, the premium is 14 million. Including the purchase tax, the total is 45 million. The person in charge of the auto show quickly replied. 45 million? Zhang Chen explained casually, then took out his bank card and said, "Swipe your card." Okay, Mr. Zhang, the certificates for this car are at the auto show center. You can pick them up at any time. The person in charge of the auto show responded smoothly, but before he finished speaking, his face was shocked. Mr. Zhang, do you mean you plan to buy this car? What the hell? Want to buy a car again? The whole venue was in an uproar. The previous Lafa cost 32 million, plus this Rolls-Royce, 160, worth 45 million. That adds up to 77 million. After calculating the amount, the rich second-generation people around them took a breath and fell silent. The whole venue was completely silent. Most of the second-generation rich people participating in the exhibition have family net assets of only tens of millions, which is not even as much as what Zhang Chen spent on buying a car today. What qualifications do you have to make rash comments in front of Zhang Chen? After a while, all the rich second generation swarmed around Zhang Chen. People who can easily spend 80 million yuan to buy luxury cars have at least 10 times more liquidity in their hands. With 800 million in liquidity in hand, this is not a human being, it is clearly a mobile bank. As long as we have a relationship with this kind of person, will the family still have to worry about problems with the capital chain in the future? In front of such a powerful person, not to mention these rich second generations, even if their biological fathers are present, they have to be fawning. Brother, I am the heir to the Zinon Group. When I have time to play, I will buy Lily for all expenses. Speaking of fun, big brother, please remember my prestige. 80% of the entertainment industry in Nanchang City is run by my family. As long as big brother says a word, I will invite even big stars to you. Once again, their understanding of Zhang Chen's financial resources has been revised. These rich second generations do not dare to discuss friendship with Zhang Chen's peers for fear of making Zhang Chen unhappy. Zhang Chen couldn't help but smile as he looked at the rich second generations around him who were frantically trying to please him. If these people were to know that 80 million was only their 8-day income, wouldn't these second generation rich people have to kneel down to themselves? Even the rich second generation went crazy, not to mention the reporters and models around them. However, these people did not dare to compete with this group of second generation and could only stand on the periphery and watch helplessly. The car model's eyes became redder and redder at this time, and he wished he could pounce on Zhang Chen right now. As long as I can create a spark with such a powerful person, I won't have to worry about it in my life. As for the reporters, the flashlights of their cameras were flashing more and more frequently, and they had already thought of the headlines. A surprise appearance was made at the auto show, with a millionaire spending 80 million to buy a car, close black lens bracket. Chen Yinner, who was standing next to Zhang Chen, had bright eyes and was glad that she had come to the right place this time. Whenever I think of my roommate mocking me for pretending to be noble and hypocritical, Chen Yinner couldn't help but feel angry, and at the same time, she became more determined to get on Zhang Chen's big boat. No matter what the cost, with his appearance and acting skills, if he can get Zhang Chen's support, he will definitely become famous. As for Zhang Wenwen, she was once again driven outside by crazy people. Out of boredom, Zhang Wenwen could only take out her phone to take pictures again and sent it to her classmates. The grand finale of the auto show, the limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom, priced at 45 million. Yang Xiaomei. Wow, what a beautiful car, even a girl likes it. Xu Chen. I heard that only 28 units of this car were produced. Even if you have money, you may not be able to buy it. Those who can afford this car are the real heroes. He Gong. If I had known there would be so many luxury cars at this Henggu auto show, I would have taken a day off to visit them. Although He Gong is only an employee of a small company, he is a luxury car enthusiast. In He Gong's words, every luxury car is a work of art and deserves to be appreciated by the world. Li Ziming. Those who can afford a Rolls-Royce are the real rich. They say this car is the father of a supercar. Zhang Fan. At Li Ziming, you are wrong. What if Zhang Chen also bought this car? Li Ziming. At Zhang Fei, wait for a slap in the face, haha. Li Ziming and Zhang Fan, who had been missing for most of the day, came out again to speak out loud, criticizing Sang and Wei, and implicitly calling Zhang Chen their son. In their opinion, Zhang Chen's ability to spend 32 million to buy a Lafa was already the limit, and he had no money to buy this Rolls-Royce. Li Ziming and Zhang Fan were among the group of classmates who got along relatively well. The other group members did not want to offend, so they had no choice but to remain silent. Zhang Wenwen puffed up her mouth in anger when she saw the messages mocking Zhang Chen among her classmates. When she looked up, she saw the car handover ceremony going on. Without saying a word, Zhang Wenwen took a photo of Zhang Chen taking the car keys and sent it to the group. At Zhangfan, tell the truth, were you at the car show? How did you know that Zhang Chen bought this car? In an instant, the entire chat group fell silent, and everyone zoomed in on the picture, fearing that they had seen the wrong person. That's right, it was Zhang Chen who took over the car keys. Li Ziming and Zhang Fan even widened their eyes and murmured in disbelief. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. But in an instant, the chat group completely exploded. Zhang Chen must have made at least 77 million to buy these 2 cars. I am so rich, I only spent a small amount of money to buy 2 cars. Worship the gods. At Zhangwenwen, ask brother Zhang if he still needs a driver. I am a driver for free, mainly because I want to drive a luxury car. Looking at the flood of flattering messages, Zhang Wenwen had no intention of letting go of Zhang Fan and Li Ziming, who had mocked Zhang Chen over and over again. She named them and sent a message. At Zhang Fan, at Li Ziming, aren't you just waiting for a slap in the face? Is it worth 77 million? Zhang Fan. I feel sore. Li Ziming 3.3. I'm also upset. Wenwen, please apologize to brother Zhang on my behalf. After seeing Zhang Chen's true financial resources, the jealousy in Zhang Fan and Li Ziming's hearts disappeared instantly. To be precise, it was Zhang Chen's terrifying financial resources that made the two of them despair. Just when Zhang Wenwen sent the message, the car handover ceremony was completed. Since this Rolls-Royce was a new car, it needed to go through various procedures. Zhang Chen was too lazy to do it, so he left the car here and asked the person in charge of the auto show to handle it. Brother Zhang, your hidden lessons are really deep. The crowd dispersed and Zhang Wenwen walked to Zhang Chen's side. I didn't expect that I would be so lucky today to come across such a luxury car. I simply bought it together to save myself trouble later. Zhang Chen replied with a smile, but what he got in exchange was Zhang Wenwen's resentful look. Look, is this what people say? After Zhang Chen bought the car, Zhang Wenwen's task for today was completed. Brother Zhang, if you have nothing else to do, I will go back first. There is something going on at the company. Zhang Wenwen said to Zhang Chen after receiving the call from the company. Wenwen, I'm sorry to trouble you today, but these 100,000 yuan will be regarded as hard work expenses. Zhang Chen didn't give Zhang Wenwen a chance to refuse, so he took out his mobile phone and transferred 100,000 yuan directly. Thank you, brother Zhang. Zhang Wenwen did not refuse. She looked at the payment information on her phone and smiled happily. She worked hard for half a year selling cars but could not earn more than 100,000 yuan. Now, just by accompanying Zhang Chen around the Hengdu Auto Show, he received 100,000 yuan in hard work. How could he not be happy? How do you want to thank me? Zhang Chen joked to Zhang Wenwen. Brother Zhang, how do you want me to thank you? Zhang Wenwen's cheeks flushed instantly. She lowered her head slightly, not daring to look directly at Zhang Chen. That Wenwen, actually Zhang Chen was a little embarrassed. He just saw Zhang Wenwen dressed up beautifully today and made a little joke. In fact, he had no intention of having anything to do with Zhang Wenwen 22. Unexpectedly, Zhang Wenwen took it seriously. Before Zhang Chen could explain, Zhang Wenwen immediately summoned up the courage and kissed that handsome face. Bah! Zhang Chen felt his face heat up, and when he reacted, Zhang Wenwen had already run out of the auto show center. Ding dong! The cell phone buzzer sounded. Zhang Chen picked up the phone and saw that it was a message from Zhang Wenwen. Brother Zhang, we're developing too fast, please give me some time. Looking at the content of the message, Zhang Chen couldn't laugh or cry. How come something happened in person? Although things took a turn for the worse and exceeded Zhang Chen's expectations, Zhang Chen did not refuse. Gun to gun, gun to gun. After all, you are a millionaire every day. How can you still be afraid of an inexperienced child like you? Relying on his own strength to lift the weight of a male dog's waist, he really put his bayonet into action, and he was not sure who would beg for mercy first. As soon as Zhang Wenwen stepped forward, Chen Yin'er, who was waiting aside, stepped forward. The scene where Zhang Chen transferred money to Zhang Wenwen just now was seen by Chen Yin. Zhang Chen made such a generous move, and Chen Yin'er became even more determined to hold Zhang Chen's thigh tightly. Mr. Zhang, you haven't left yet. Chen Yin'er took the initiative to step forward and strike up a conversation. I'm planning to try out the car. Wherever Miss Chen is going, I'll take you there. Zhang Chen originally planned to try out the Lafa that he had just acquired, so he simply extended an invitation to Chen Yin'er. A luxury car without a beautiful woman in the passenger seat has no soul. Then I'd rather be respectful than obey, and I'll bother Mr. Chen. Chen Yin'er smiled slightly, and then took the initiative to get into the co-pilot of the Lafa car. Zhang Chen got into the driver's seat and pressed the start button. Boom! The roar of the engine resounded throughout the auto show venue, and everyone looked at him with envy. The most luxurious cars and the most beautiful car models now belong to Zhang Chen. This is the real winner in life. Before the car started, Zhang Chen, who was sitting in the driver's seat, suddenly leaned over to Chen Yinner. "Mr. Zhang, this is an auto show venue. There are too many people." Chen Yinner subconsciously hugged her chest, closed her eyes tightly, and said timidly. When she went to school again, she often heard her classmates talk about this. The preferences of rich people are elusive, and they are trivial in the car. Some people even book a roller coaster specifically just to experience the speed and passion. If Zhang Chen forces me, what should I do? Refusing may make Zhang Chen unhappy. If he didn't refuse, there would still be so many people here. It would be embarrassing. For a moment, Chen Yinner felt uneasy and couldn't make up her mind. However, Chen Yinner hesitated for a long time, but found that Zhang Chen Jeja did not take the next step. She opened her eyes slightly and saw Zhang Chen pulling the seatbelt from her side and buckling it. "You must fasten your seatbelt when riding in a car." Zhang Chen glanced at Chen Yinner, who was behaving strangely, and said calmly, "Thank you, Mr. Zhang." Chen Yinner's face turned red and she wanted to bury her head in her towering chest. "Ah, how embarrassing. How will Mr. Zhang look at me in the future? He won't treat me as that kind of casual woman." At this time, Chen Yinner became even more uneasy. Seeing Chen Yinner's appearance, Zhang Chen felt inexplicably happy and stepped on the accelerator. The burgundy Rafa was like a beast that had been gathering momentum for a long time, instantly bursting out with extremely terrifying speed. When the automatic door lever at the entrance to the auto show didn't even react, Rafa rushed out from under the door lever. The 6.3-liter V12 engine deserves its reputation. After Zhang Chen drove out of the venue, he drove towards Nanchang Art Institute. When Zhang Chen drove Rafa and stopped at a left-turn intersection, waiting for the traffic light, all the pedestrians turned their attention to him. "Hey, what kind of car is this? It's so cool, Ferrari Lafa. I didn't expect that our Nanchang city would have such a luxury car." This is one of the 3 legendary luxury cars, the Lafa, which sells for 30 to 40 million and is still worthless. No matter what, let's take pictures first. Pedestrians on both sides of the road took out their mobile phones to take photos and videos. You are lucky to see a luxury car of this level in person once. Taking photos and posting them on WeChat Moments can bring out your style. Look, there's a McLaren on the other side. An onlooker who witnessed the 913 screamed in surprise, and then people realized that a McLaren was parked on the opposite side of the road and was waiting for a red light. It's just that under the dazzling glare of Rafa, one of the 3 great cars, this McLaren has been ignored in a gorgeous way. Zhang Chen was sitting in the car, looking at McLaren waiting at the red light, and felt lucky in his heart. "Fortunately, I didn't buy a McLaren at the auto show, otherwise, I would have been walking with people just after leaving the venue." At this time, the green light turns on, turn to go straight. Zhang Chen did not rush to get ahead, but turned on his left turn signal and waited to let McLaren pass first. However, what surprised Zhang Chen was that the McLaren going straight on the opposite side did not start, but did a double flash. The meaning is most obvious. Zhang Chen's method is wrong. Even the McLaren gave way, but other ordinary cars didn't dare to compete. There is no surveillance at this intersection. If a collision occurs, if the responsibilities are divided a little more, these car owners will not be able to afford the compensation if they sell their cars. For a moment, a very strange scene appeared at the entire intersection. Although the traffic light was green, not a single car was passing. Just to let Zhang Chen pass first. Awesome. If I could experience this feeling, it would be worth losing 10 years of my life. It is worthy of being one of the 3 great cars. Even McLaren has to go around it. When the pedestrians around saw this scene, they felt envious and jealous.